right after this. This stadium waited all year for has finally arrived. The Clemson Tigers and the South Carolina Gamecocks all set to go at it here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia. A lot of orange, a lot of garnet in the stands here as we get set for these two great rivals. The Gamecocks of South Carolina play their final game of the year here today, and a very special day it will be for 22 seniors playing their final game here at Williams-Brice Stadium. They do not have a bowl game to look forward to. That's not the case for the Clemson Tigers. They'll be going to a bowl. We're just not sure where. But the insiders tell us today that if Clemson can win this game, they'll be headed for the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville, Florida. What a gorgeous day for football here in Columbia at Williams-Brice Stadium. We just can't wait to get this one started between the Gamecocks and the Tigers. For South Carolina, their ball club won in Clemson a year ago. The Tigers, just now coming out into the field, would love to return the favor. In fact, Clemson has not lost in Columbia since 1987. But the Gamecocks know, and particularly those seniors, this is their last shot. And for quarterback Steve Tannehill, he is looking at an opportunity to beat Clemson 3 times in 4 years, which would be quite an accomplishment for that young man playing his final game. The crowd rising here at Williams-Brice Stadium. The Gamecocks are waiting in the wings. And a fever pitch here at the stadium. And here come the Gamecocks. South Carolina at 4-5-1, having been dismantled the last couple of weeks by Tennessee and then by Florida. Second-year head coach Brad Scott won this particular rivalry game a year ago at Clemson and won it big. Meanwhile, for the Clemson Tigers, they come in at 7-3 and on a definite roll. They have won 4 consecutive games, getting set for the South Carolina regular season finale, and they, of course, will look forward to a bowl game. A very pleasant good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Rathman, my partner, former NFL All-Pro punter Dave Jennings. We welcome you to the game of the year here in South Carolina. And Dave, we have contrasting styles, as our fans are well aware. The Gamecocks, of course, will throw it all over the ballpark, and if Tannehill is on, the Tigers could have a long day.
5th in the nation passing. They throw for over 300 yards a game, 30 touchdown passes this year. It's not a big downfield passing game. They'll come out with 2, 3, 4, 5 wide receivers, but their fullback is their leading receiver.
And the Tigers, of course, just the opposite. They love to run the football, and they do it so very well.
Well, it's the old Danny Ford offense. They just big offensive linemen run the football. They're 4th in the nation rushing. The big key for them, don't turn the ball over, because they can't play catch-up football.
David, certainly brings up a couple of questions. One, South Carolina's inability to stop the run.
Well, they don't stop it very well because they're not very big. They give up a lot of yards. They've given up 33 touchdowns this year on the ground, and one of the guys they're going to want to stop is Raymond Priester, their tailback, who is a great running back, had 263 yards last week against Duke and could break a single season rushing record if he gets 58 yards today.
Steve Tannehill for South Carolina at the helm. His final game, an emotional day for this young man, but if he's on, he can pass it with the best of them.
40th consecutive start. He's got 27 touchdown passes this year. He loves to go to any one of 6 or 7 or 8 receivers. Now, one guy who's going to be watching for him is Clemson's strong safety, number 20, Brian Dawkins. Had 3 picks last week against Duke. He's got 6 on the season.
I think it is certainly paramount, Dave Jennings, that Clemson, and they've done a great job of this all season, is to get pressure on the quarterback, because that's where a great pass defense begins.
Yeah, they've got to 24 sacks. They've got 20 interceptions this year. They've got a couple guys who can get after you. One of the guys is Patrick Sapp, a former quarterback. He's a good pass rusher. He plays on the strong side.
South Carolina will receive the opening kickoff. Clemson won the toss and they deferred. And for the Gamecocks, Terry Cousin and Deuce Staley are the deep men. Cousin is number 5 at the bottom of your screen. Staley is number 19 up top, and both are great threats. And Jeff Sauve is going to be kicking off for Clemson. Dave, we talk about key plays in a football game. You don't always talk about the opening kickoff as just that kind of play, but Clemson is great in coverage, and South Carolina is 5th in the country in kickoff returns.
Well, they're two strengths going against each other. Clemson gives up only 17 yards at kickoff return, where South Carolina returns it for over 23, 24 yards return.
Sauve boots it deep, and it is going to be Staley drifting back for the over-the-shoulder grab, and he'll run it out. And taken down at the 10, and there is that great coverage by Clemson that we were talking about, led by number 22, Damon Ward. Steve Tannehill at quarterback for the Gamecocks. He has thrown 27 touchdown passes, and all of those gentlemen you see there are receivers, and they'll catch a lot of balls today if things go well. Of course, pressure on that offensive line to protect the quarterback. And starting today, Delvin Herring, the redshirt senior in his final home game, goes at the guard position, number 76.
You notice South Carolina comes right out, no huddle, they just go right to it.
From the 11, 1st and 10. First snap of the ball game. And the reverse. And Bridges takes it out to about the 18-yard line. Peter Ford, the cornerback, was the man who made the tackle. For the Clemson defense, an outstanding bunch, and this young man, number 41, Anthony Simmons, is the odds-on favorite to be the ACC Rookie of the Year. Pressure, of course, on the secondary. They like to play tight. McCleon is outstanding, along with the man we mentioned earlier in Dawkins. There's a look at Anthony Simmons. 123 tackles, Dave, a Clemson freshman record. He's got 47 more tackles than any other player in that Clemson defense.
Does not play like a freshman.
2nd down and 2. And Tannehill to the air for the first time. He can run. Unloads, and it's complete. Breaking away is Nick Lowe. Out over the 35 into the 38-yard line before Simmons brought him down. He broke a tackle immediately and got some yardage.
That was Dexter McCleon. He's got to make that play. One thing you don't want to do is miss tackles, because this team can move the ball. And Tannehill, who loves to throw it, you see, he's passed the ball, he's handed off the ball and end around. He loves to do those gadget plays. He's even caught a pass this year.
1st and 10 for the Gamecocks at the 37-yard line. A 19-yard pickup. Out of the shotgun. Beckwith is in at center. And they'll swing it out to the 45-yard line as Simpson makes the tackle. Nice little catch and run that time by Deuce Staley.
Boy, a nice move, too. You look at this from the end zone, you'll see him catch the pass, and then he puts a move on the defensive back for Clemson, just leaves him in his feet.
Dave, the Tigers are going to that nickel. They've got 5 defensive backs. Carter is in there, along with McCleon, Dawkins, Evans, and Ford. So the Tigers are thinking pass as the ball comes out to midfield.
Just matching up with a 3 wide receiver look. And, of course, in this 3 wide receiver look and the shotgun, the South Carolina brings in a new center, Beckwith, to go do the shotgun snap.
2nd and 2 from the 45, and the Gamecocks have the first down. The catch made by Zola Davis out near midfield. They'll mark it at the 49. Peter Ford was covering.
Zola Davis, second leading receiver, but he's been quiet the last couple weeks. I know South Carolina wants to get him back in the game.
He's had only 2 catches in the last 2 games. The Palmetto Warfare. Clemson leads the all-time series, but we spoke earlier about the fact that the road team has enjoyed great success in this series with 4 straight wins. Tannehill has started off 3 for 3 for 31 yards and throwing the ball. A fresh set of downs from midfield. Tannehill over the middle, and it's going to be complete.
But Corey Bridges lined up as a 3rd wide receiver on the right side. Rich ran down in a post pattern. He got wide open in the little hole in this middle of the field. It'll be at the left side of your screen. He lined up 3rd receiver. Now Tannehill doesn't look at him, but now finds him in the hole right there. Complete. And one thing early on, Clemson getting no pressure on Tannehill.
Exactly the point that you made earlier, Dave, and you have to put heat on Tannehill. Not the fact that you're going to stop him because he can run, but you have to disrupt this passing game somehow. Tannehill again. This time Clemson flushes him out. He's going to run the football. 35-30. And still with good running room inside the 20 down to the 18. And a good hit. And Tannehill right in the face, too, on the sideline of strong safety Brian Dawkins.
Again, good coverage downfield, but nobody came on the left side of the defense. And you'll see it as, look at the left side. There's no one there for Tannehill. He drops back. Sapp, right side, number 3, gets blocked. He's going to chase, but nobody over here on this left side. It's wide open, so he just takes it upfield. Good block by Nick Lowe coming back on the play. And South Carolina, look where they are. They can move the ball.
from their own 10 on the opening kickoff. The Gamecocks have taken it down to the Clemson 17-yard line. Now Tannehill out of the eye. Still wants to throw to the end zone and over the head of Bridges.
A little corner pattern by Bridges, but McLeon, the cornerback, number 9, right there in your screen, on him all the way. So Tannehill just threw it where it couldn't be caught, couldn't be intercepted.
Dave, if you would, speak to the emotions of playing as a senior, your final home game.
You know, Tannehill last game had a press conference on Thursday, his final press conference, broke down several times. Very emotional. It's a tough thing to know this is your last college game. He'll have a career in the pros. He'll be a draft choice, but there's something special about playing in a great atmosphere down here.
Well, look at that Clemson defense, Dave. 6 DBs in there now. They go to the dime, and Tannehill backs it out and works from the gun. 2nd and 10 from the 18. Long drive for South Carolina. Now our first flags of the afternoon.
It's going to be a false start, I believe, against South Carolina.
Dead ball, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, repeat 2nd down.
Robin Wood from Lynchburg, Virginia, is our referee today. This is a officiating crew assigned by the Atlantic Coast Conference for today's game. Now it'll be 2nd down and 15.
How about this? They're huddling up. That's kind of rare.
Yeah, get to introduce everybody to one another.
They want to get downfield, get it in the end zone, do it fast.
No score. 12 minutes to play in the opening period. Nick Lowe in motion. Staley. Tough yards. Right into the teeth of that Clemson defense that take it down to the 21.
Yeah, they made a little adjustment on the snap when they went to the I formation, brought a 5th guy in, brought him into a down lineman, and Antoine Edwards, the safety, came up, little number 1 right there to make the play in the middle of the line.
Both clubs, Tommy West, having to shuttle those defenders in and out in a hurry as quickly as South Carolina likes to snap it. They average about 15 seconds per snap.
Now look at this, 5 wide receivers. And you know they're not running the football here.
3 up top, 2 at the bottom of your screen. Tannehill. He's going to run it, and he's got some room to run. 15, caught from behind as he gets down to the 10. Andy McCrory was the man who had him in his sights and finally got a hold of him from behind, but not before Tannehill picked up 12.
Yeah, wasn't sure if McCrory was going to play today. He's number 5 right in the middle of your screen. Hurt his ankle a couple weeks ago against North Carolina. But again, nobody back there to pick up any blockers, so he's just going to take off as everybody takes off downfield. Just short. And are they going to go for it here on 4th down? Or are they going to kick the field goal? Look at this. They're going for it. Loaded up.
And the give is to the fullback, Pritchett, and he's got the 1st down. Andre Carter made the hit, but too late. And now it's going to be 1st and goal for the Gamecocks at the 7-yard line.
You know, do they go for it on 4th down? I don't think so. Not in this type of day. What do you have to lose? Go for it. And they sent on everybody late. I don't think Clemson really adjusted very well. And 1st down for the Gamecocks.
What a magnificent drive this has been for South Carolina. Trying to give the scoreboard company here in the 1st quarter. 10:20 remaining in a running 1st quarter clock. Pritchett to the right, Staley to the left, flanking quarterback Tannehill. Tannehill looks to throw, floats it to the end zone. Touchdown, South Carolina. Monty Means with the grab.
Guy we talked about early on, Brian Dawkins, a strong safety in coverage, but Means gets away, helping the quarterback running the same way. You see Dawkins coming over late. Means goes up high and pulls it in for the quick 6-0 lead.
Reed Morton coming in to try the PAT out of the Derwin Jeffcoat hold. Morton on PATs this year is 36 for 41. Seven 0 South Carolina. A 7-yard touchdown pass from Steve Tannehill to Monty Means, and South Carolina takes the opening kickoff and drives it right down the field to lead the Tigers 7-0.
Tannehill uses a lot of different receivers. He used 5 different ones on this drive, just rolling out to the right, finding means on a crossing pattern. Dawkins a little late. He's got 7 receivers with 10 or more receptions this season.
What an impressive drive.
Very fast. That's one thing that Clemson didn't want. They don't want to get in a shootout with South Carolina because they cannot play that kind of game. So we talked about it early on, how they like to throw the football. South Carolina does. Now we're going to see Clemson just running the football.
19, Antoine White. Number 1, Antoine Edwards, the deep man. Andre Williams, number 25, is up just a bit. He's about the 26-yard line for Clemson. And Reed Morton is going to kick it off for the Gamecocks. 10:08 to go in the first quarter. Carolina 7, Clemson nothing here at Williams-Brice Stadium on an absolutely picture-perfect day for football. Here's the kick. And it is going to be the freshman Edwards to return it. And look at that burst of speed. Finds a seam and upended as he gets to the 40-yard line. The kicker, Morton, had to make the tackle. Boy, did Edwards take off.
Yeah, it didn't get very deep. Got a nice hole. You'll see it from the end zone here. And Edwards not real deep. See where he comes up to make the catch now. Look at the hole right here. Look at that hole. And now the kicker's got to come up. Love those kickers making tackles.
A 26-yard return gives Clemson outstanding field position at their own 40-yard line. 1st and 10. Nealon Green at quarterback for the Tigers. Under big heat and dropped back at the 36. Aubrey Brooks, the senior, playing his final home game today. Great pressure. Super hit, the young man from Sumter, South Carolina. Here's a look at the Clemson offense with Green at quarterback. Priester 58 yards away from the all-time Clemson single-season rushing record. And the offensive line with Bundren, Young, Putnam, Roundtree, and Jackson. That group has been intact for basically the last 2 years, and they've allowed only 10 sacks all season long.
Notice they come out with a 3 wide receiver set. Normally they run out of this, but they changed up on 1st down, lost yards.
Green will keep it himself and gets it out to the 46-yard line. Ben Washington came over to make the tackle. The rest of the South Carolina defense. And this is a group that has been bloodied but unbowed as they come into this final game. They've given up a ton of points the last 2 weeks. In the secondary, Ben Washington leads the team in tackles with 83. 3rd and 5.
Notice
from the 45.
Notice a little different in the pace between the 2 offenses.
Yes. South Carolina wants to get it and go. Much more in terms of ball control for Clemson. And a nice catch on the far side by Kendrick Crooks, the sophomore from Seneca, brought down by Ron Neely.
Boy, that is not a sophomore play. Brooks, number 88, Crooks, number 88, right there. Finds the 1st down yardage, knows where those sticks were, went there, came back, made sure he had that extra yard, caught the ball, made the 1st down. A veteran receiver right there, only a sophomore.
Carolina 7, Clemson nothing. 8:50 left in the first. Bob Rathbun, Dave Jennings from Williams-Brice Stadium here in Columbia, South Carolina. And each team's had the ball once. South Carolina went right down the field and scored. Now Clemson with its first opportunity.
Now they passed on 1st down last plays.
And the handoff will go to Priester. But nothing doing. Ronnie Smith right there to greet him. Interesting, too, Dave, you talk about Ronnie Smith, number 50 in that Clemson linebacking core. He was recruited to come to South Carolina by Clemson head coach Tommy West.
Yeah, there is some connections here between these 2 coaching staffs teams. It's kind of neat to watch that. And one thing you notice, you look at Priester. How about South Carolina wearing only needs 58 yards to break the Clemson single-season rushing record. Notice South Carolina wearing black jerseys, first time under Brad Scott's tenure.
2nd and 11. Green slips, regains his balance, and close to the 1st down as he takes it inside the 40. They'll mark it just inside the 39. Lee Wiggins came over to make that tackle for South Carolina.
Watch number 75, if you will. He's going to pull right out here. That's Glenn Roundtree, the right guard. Nice little block there. And that block was on Benji Young, the middle linebacker. So he's had a couple nice blocks early on. And then Green running the football.
Nealon offers that. Not only is he a solid passer, Dave, but he's the number 3 rusher on this Clemson outfit.
And the one thing they have to be concerned a little bit, he does have a tendency of dropping the football. Doesn't throw a lot of interceptions, but he does drop the football. So when he runs, he's really got to put two hands on it as they get the first down here on the measurement. And there's Green. He does like to run. He's got, there you see his passing numbers. Not a lot of interceptions, but he does have some fumbles.
So already, after that 12-yard gain, Nealon in rushing the football, he's picked up 17 yards in this Clemson drive. 1st and 10 from the South Carolina 39, they call it.
His first run was on the option. Second run was on, got to get out of there. Again, the 3 wide receiver set, no tight end, but they do run out of this formation quite often.
That play clock is down to 5 seconds. Clemson's going to have to hurry, and they just beat the clock. Priester. Nothing doing. Neely up from the corner that time.
See, one thing you'll see South Carolina do is their defensive backs, especially their safeties, are going to play pretty good run support. Neely, the cornerback, doing a very nice job. Number 3 right there in the middle of your screen, coming up to make the play.
Neely, a senior from Pottstown, Pennsylvania. 22 South Carolina seniors soaking up their last home game. Brad Scott, his club with the early 7-0 lead, but the Tigers are threatening. The play action, and it is a nice grab. Nope, out of bounds. Crooks went up to get it, but was out of bounds. No catch.
No, he's clearly out of bounds, came down way out of bounds, but a good job by him not to worry where the out of bounds marker is. Make sure you catch a football. How many times you see a guy looking at the out of bounds marker, doesn't catch the ball, but Green just throwing a little bit, leading him a little too much. You see him clearly out of bounds.
7:11 remaining in the first quarter. South Carolina leading 7-0. It's 3rd and 9 now for the Tigers. They made their first 3rd down try earlier in this drive. Green's going to throw it, and going deep. It's going to be incomplete. The intended receiver for Clemson was Joe Woods, number 2, and back there to bat it away, the cornerback Joe Troop.
Yeah, and that was a poor throw because you'll see Troop doing a nice job coming back, but you'll see Woods have to slow up. Green stepping up. He's got to lead him a little more because here he's open. Right now he's open, but see how he's got to come back for the ball, and it gives Troop a chance to come in and make the play. See, he's got him beat, but he's got to come back. Troop doing a good job making the play, so Clemson apparently going to punt here on 4th down.
And they bring in their pooch man, Kevin Laird, the freshman from Mississippi, try to get it close inside that 10.
Nobody back for South Carolina. A little bit
Good
too long.
coverage, and it gets a South Carolina bounce into the end zone. 37-yard punt, but they'll bring it out, of course, to the 20. A timeout on the field here in Columbia, South Carolina. Gamecocks lead 7-0. We'll be back after this word from your local stations. Is presented by Morgan Keegan, the South's premier investment firm. We'll take a look at those SEC games in a moment. Tannehill on 1st down, throws complete. Bridges at the 26. It'll be 2nd down and 4. Elsewhere in the SEC today, some big games, as always is the case in this conference. Alabama-Auburn will kick off at 5:30 Eastern time. We'll talk about that in a moment. Arkansas at LSU, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Vandy, Florida. Of course, we'll keep you updated with the scores as well. Tannehill is got a hot right arm, 6 out of 7 for 60 yards so far. Carolina leading 7-0. Tannehill over the middle, and incomplete. Means had it for a moment. They rule it incomplete, although you see Clemson's Dawkins down there covering.
Yeah, there's a penalty on the field, offensive holding against South Carolina.
I'm talking about that SEC slate, that Alabama-Auburn game. This is just the 3rd time that they've gone to home and home that Auburn has hosted the game, and the Tigers have won the previous 2.
10 yards against the offense from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 2nd down.
They'll back it up to the 10-yard line.
So Mark Simpson got some good pressure that time, who's a left defensive end. He wears number 99, and I think the right tackle was guilty of holding him.
So now 2nd and 20. Tannehill looking to swing it. Pressured, still wants to throw, and it's going to be incomplete, nearly intercepted. Boy, Dawkins cut in front at the last second, and Dave Jennings, he nearly had his 7th interception of the year.
Remember we talked on the first series, not any pressure that time on the first series. This time, a lot of pressure on Tannehill. You'll see number 96 planting. You'll see Sapp also coming in. Sapp's going to chase him, the former quarterback, and you put some pressure on, force Tannehill to throw it. Don't know why Dawkins didn't catch it. Again, you'll see the pressure coming from the left side. Watch Sapp chase him right here. See him chase him? Dawkins should have had it.
3rd and 20 from the 10. Down the sideline. And incomplete, well over the head of Marcus Robinson.
So that's the type of series Clemson would like after not being able to capitalize on a nice drive last series. So they'll force South Carolina to punt the football.
And Clemson's got to come out with some good field position.
They should. They should. Derwin Jeffcoat's the punter. Not a real long distance guy, and this is where you find out about your punters backed up deep in your own end zone. Not much wind today, as you've been talking about. A beautiful day. South Carolina going with that tight punt formation. Clemson's got 10 guys up.
What little wind there is in the face of the punter.
It's a low line drive off the side of his foot.
Wyatt in South Carolina territory, breaks a tackle, cuts clean at the 40 to the 30 and out of bounds at the 27. Boy, what a Houdini act that time by Antoine Wyatt. Stanley Pritchett gave him a great block, and Wyatt was able to cut it back and turn it into a super gain. 22-yard return and down to the South Carolina 26-yard line.
One key thing, Wyatt, if you want to have a good punt return, you make the first guy miss. Right here, there are 3 black jerseys. He makes the first 2 guys miss, then he gets some help and takes it on upfield. He's averaging 12.2 yards a return, and as you said, excellent field position. Can't get much better than this at the 26.5-yard line. Look at South Carolina going with a 3-man line.
Now they bring up 43 Brooks. Play goes the other way, though, and Priester inside the 20, down to the 19.
Boy, also after returning the kick, Wyatt with a nice block outside. The receiver doing a real good job to open up the hole. The option there working for Clemson.
Will, of course, keeps close tabs on Priester for you as he closes in on the record. 7-0 South Carolina here, but Clemson looking to get even. 5:45 left in the first quarter. Inside they give it to Smith, and down inside the 5 at the 4. What a battering ram. This young man from Pensacola, Florida, is Emery Smith.
Boy, nice hole right up the middle, and of course Smith's got 12 touchdowns. They get it inside, they turn and hand it off to this big running back. Good block by the center that time. Look at that hole, just wide open, and the safety has to come up Freeman and make the play. They like to give it to Smith when they get inside that goal line area.
1st and goal from the 5. 14-yard pickup for Smith. Smith again, down to the 2.
Trying to catch his brother.
And why not?
Brother's got 17 touchdowns this year. We're talking about Emmett, of course, from Dallas.
Emmett was able to watch the game at Georgia Tech. The Cowboys were to play the Falcons the next day, so Emmett was there to watch his, I say, little brother, 6 feet 238. Use that term advisedly. Clemson trailing 7-0, but knocking on the door. 2nd and goal.
South Carolina back to the 4-man line down here on the goal line.
And Smith to the 1, trying to stretch it in. A loose football. It's a live ball.
Boy, he made a big mistake there. He was down. He turned blindly and tried to turn it to the goal line, and they banged it off the helmet. Now, I think the official may be saying he's down by contact. So no fumble. The official saying he was in possession.
Boy, the way the referee, Robin Wood, was backpedaling on that play, I thought that the ball was live.
Now, the referee, that's not his call. Freeman makes the play, but it's not his call. The referee, it's the umpire right in the middle of the huddle, and you can see it right down a 1 yard line. So they called his forward progress down.
Well, what a break for Clemson. Well, that would have been just a disaster for the
And look
Tigers
who's in the
to lose that ball.
backfield. Look who's in the backfield. Roundtree, number 75. He's a guard. They've moved him back on the wham offense. A little option here.
And Priester does a great job to catch it. Fumbles it into the end zone.
He's down by contact.
And down again. Another break for the Tigers. Wiggins was there.
So let's see if Clemson goes for it here. I think Clemson will go for it here. Again, see number 75 right side of your screen. They're going to run the option here, and it's really a bad toss, but now Priester has it and can't quite get there. But a bad toss that time as Wiggins comes up to make the play. I think they're going to go for it. I think they should go for it. Clemson has to right here.
Well, talk about living on the edge.
Man. They're going to have to call a timeout here. I think they're running out of time. 10 seconds. Yeah, they do call a timeout. Well, this would be a big momentum builder for South Carolina if they can stop them.
So Clemson's going to talk it over. Nearly lost 2 fumbles. Wasn't that a great grab by Priester? One hand on a weak toss from the quarterback.
See, they expected it to go inside because Roundtree, again, is the right guard, but in this down on the goal line, they will put him back in the backfield and just blast ahead. And I guess they thought South Carolina would be expecting it, so they went outside. As we look at our college scoreboard, Florida State up on top of Maryland.
7-7 in Chapel Hill. Other ACC scores today. We'll also keep you posted on the SEC as we move along this afternoon. Here at 7-0 South Carolina. 3:34 left in the first, and a 4th and goal for Clemson. We've got more SEC football coming up next weekend. Our final game of the year will match the Vanderbilt Commodores against the Tennessee Volunteers. Tennessee having a tremendous season. Just that one setback to the Gators. Next Saturday, check your local listings for the game time in your area.
Again, the Clemson coaching staff talking over what they want to do right here. Normally, they just give it to Emery Smith, their big fullback, and have him blast ahead, but he couldn't make it in before. And a little deception that time because they loaded it up, but they went out wide, and they couldn't get it because of the bad toss.
Well, let's see what the Tigers decide. Brad Scott's got the defense all ready to go, too.
Something that usually works down here when you load it up is a play action to the tight end. Now, look how they've loaded it up here. Play action will work.
And the give. Did he get in? Yes.
So will Emery Smith.
Emery Smith makes it in to put Clemson on the scoreboard at 7-6.
Just basic power of football. And the offensive line for Clemson is a lot bigger than the defensive front for South Carolina. They just blasted away, took it in.
And doesn't that also, Dave, have a cumulative effect as the game wears on?
Oh, it does, sure. And especially this is such a momentum builder here, or a momentum stopper, because, hey, if South Carolina could have stopped them there, it would have been just, you wouldn't have been able to hear yourself in this place.
Sauve with the kick to tie it. 3 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in the opening quarter from Williams-Brice Stadium. Brand new ball game. Clemson 7, South Carolina 7. South Carolina and Clemson, each club, Dave Jennings, in that first quarter going for it on crucial 4th downs and making it. And a big swing right there in the momentum of this first quarter in Clemson's favor.
Boy, it's that time of year, too. Last game, nobody wants to lose this one, and they're going to pull out all the stops. And, you know, the interesting thing we saw South Carolina move the ball downfield with their passing game rather easily. We saw Clemson move the ball downfield with their running game. So both teams doing what they want to. And as a result, tie score 7-7. As you said, Clemson may be getting away with a couple of fumbles that they called non-fumbles. So we've got a tie ball game late first quarter.
Deuce Staley up top, Terry Cousin at the bottom on the kick return team. Staley, number 1 in the SEC, nearly 30 yards per kick return. This one will go to the Deuce man, and he'll take it out to the 20. And finally, out of bounds near the 30-yard line, pushed down by Evans, Le'Veon Evans. That last Clemson drive to tie the game at 7. 6 plays, 26 yards. And the 1-yard run by Smith to tie it at 7.
Remember, the good punt return set up the good field position, too.
3:22 remaining in the first quarter. So now the Gamecocks with Steve Tannehill ready to go. 1st and 10 from the 29. And Steve will come up under center this time. Beckwith is in there snapping the football. Staley and Clemson there to meet him. Lamarick Simpson, the defensive end, the senior from Rock Hill. Very impressive stop that time. He's been playing with a broken thumb. Boy, very impressive tackle.
Did you see Patrick Sapp, the linebacker on that side, just stopped everything up? No place to run.
We were talking about Patrick Sapp at dinner last night, Dave, and you had talked with the New York Giants scout. They're very impressed with him and think he may have a pro future.
Making the transition to that rush linebacker. Very, very excited about him.
2nd and 11 for Tannehill. He's going to come to the near side, and he overshoots his man, Daryl Nicklow. And now it'll be 3rd and 11.
And Nicklow trying to get away from McLean on the corner, couldn't do it, and Tannehill just threw it wide. You know, again, this offense for South Carolina, while they put the ball up in the air, they're not a big downfield passing game. They spread it around a lot of possession receivers. See Tannehill having a pretty good start here, 6 for 10, 62 yards.
5 defensive backs now for Clemson. Tannehill has time, gets some late pressure, dumps it off inside to Staley, but Clemson drags him down at the 37-yard line. McCrory was there to bring him down.
Now, a little decision here. Do you punt it or do you go for it here? I think you got to punt it at this point in the field. And Jeffcoat does trot on the field. Again, McCrory had that bad ankle that he hurt 2 weeks ago, and they weren't sure if he was going to be able to start, but he's on that field. I don't think anything can keep him off this game.
Exactly. Antoine Wyatt back deep for the Tigers, averages a little over 12 yards per punt return.
Remember, he had that good punt return last time. See if Jeffcoat does a little better. Not so good.
Wyatt smothered, knocked on his back at the 33-yard line by Ben Washington. Great coverage by Ben Washington, starting strong safety for the South Carolina Gamecock outfit. So now the Tigers get it back. 1:51 to play in the first quarter. 7-7. South Carolina, if you're just joining us here today, took the opening drive and went right down the field and scored to make it 7-0. An 11-yard play, pass play from Tannehill to Means. Then Clemson came back and tied it on a Smith 1-yard run.
Look at this Clemson 4-wide receiver look.
Lamont Pegues is in there for the Tigers. Here's Green, and nowhere to run.
See, what they do a lot is they will spread it out with 3 and 4 wide receivers. Usually 3 wide receivers. Try and get the defense to spread it out. Makes it easier to run a football. But that time, South Carolina not fooled.
No gain on the play. It will be 2nd and 10 from the 34-yard line. Nearing the end of the first quarter here at Williams-Brice Stadium. 7-7 tie. Smith and Pegues in the ball game. In the eye now for the Tigers. Green. Nice toss. Pegues. Good run out over the 40 to the 42-yard line. Not enough for the first down. It's going to be 3rd and 2. Ben Washington coming up to run him out of bounds.
Keep an eye on number 79. He's a left tackle. He will come out, and just a nice block here. That's Jim Bundren. See the nice block there, getting the corner for Pegues.
This Clemson team last week against Duke rushed for 433 yards as they beat the Blue Devils 34-17. Clemson is number 4 in the NCAA, number 1 in the ACC in rushing yards per game, over 250 a game. 3rd and 3. The Tigers 1 for 3 on 3rd down so far. Backpedaling Green, dumps it complete. 45, first down, 50 into South Carolina territory, and a penalty flag goes down. Emery Smith with the catch and run.
Yeah, they threw it right where Will Young was standing. I don't know if they got Young for offensive holding. Keep an eye on 59 White. He's a left side of your screen. He will pull out in front of Smith. Just keep an eye on 59. See if he's holding downfield. Holding right there. Flag came in late, so they should give him the first down and then mark off the penalty yardage. Referee
Robin Wood backing the Tigers up.
I think they'll give him the first down, but then mark off the penalty yardage. That's what the discussion is there on the South Carolina bench. They don't like that. They don't want to give up the first down.
The gain was to the South Carolina 46. And they're still trying to straighten it out down there. Here's Robin.
Should be 10 yards from the infraction spot.
So that would take it back to the Clemson 44.
See, it happened on the South Carolina 46, so as you say, mark back 10, should go to the 44, but it should be a first down.
We will get the announcement from Mr. Wood here once they figure out the math.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it'll be a first down at that point.
Under a minute to go in the quarter, 58 seconds to be exact. A 7-7 game.
Now they're going to measure, so they don't give them the automatic first down, I guess. They're going to have to measure here. It's very close because they had to get exactly to the 44 for the first down.
We can't see from here in the booth.
We have the same shot you do, and you can't see.
Yeah, you just can't see where they put the ball down. And it is a first down. Okay, Robin, we need you, pal. Tell us what happened down there. It is going to be a 1st and 10 for the Tigers.
Illegal block in the back on the offense. After a 10-yard penalty against the offense, it's still a first down.
There you have it. Mr. Scott does not approve. I guess the thing that...
right there, 59, the block in the back, I guess they're saying.
I guess the contention here, Dave, is the fact that it's kind of an arbitrary walk-off by the referee. I mean, if he's 6 inches short, they don't get their first down. On the toss, it comes to Pegues. Breaks to the outside. And out of bounds at the 39-yard line of South Carolina. Joe Troop ran him OB, but not before this young man from Thomasville, South Carolina, Lamont Pegues, picked up 16.
Boy, Benji Young, the middle linebacker, committed himself. Watch 49 Black. Should be on the right side of your screen. Watch him commit to the quarterback. You'll see him come right up here, right side, right there. He commits. Nobody's got the pitch man. Pegues just takes it upfield. Got to be 2 guys to play the option.
Maynard Caldwell is the man coming off the field, and this would be a big loss for South Carolina, Dave. Caldwell, #1 on the ball club with pressures on the quarterback with 15 this season. The Gamecocks will bring Quinn Brody into the game, but Caldwell is one of the defensive leaders.
Plays left defensive end.
51 seconds left in the first quarter. 7-7 here in Columbia. Inside to Smith, maybe a yard and a half. Brooks there for the tackle. However, last week, as you see, Brody in now at defensive end. Brooks, number 43, last week suffered a concussion in that game against Florida, with the senior from Sumter in there today. Final seconds of the quarter, 7-7. Clemson will get off one more play here before the end of the first stanza. Pegues still in there at tailback. And Green looking to throw, and he's going to go over the middle, and it's going to be batted away at the last second on a great play by Joe Troop.
Boy, Joe Troop, same play as before, just trailing the receiver nicely. Just watches the ball. You'll see it left side of your screen. A little play action, drop back. Now he's going to run the post pattern. Now watch Troop, number 34. Just come in nicely and knock it down.
He kept his head but lost his helmet.
Exactly. Marcus Hinton just running a post pattern. See Troop. Now watch him catch up. Nice play. See the good catch-up speed. That's what they talk about in defensive backs. Catch-up speed, reacting to the break by the receiver.
7 seconds left in the quarter. Clemson with 4 wideouts, 2 each side.
Quarterback draw, designed.
And Green trips and falls at the 34. He had to get to the 28 for the first down. And that is going to be the end of the first quarter of play. 4th down for Clemson when we come back after this message from CarQuest Auto Parts. We are back in Columbia, and Jeff Sauve is going to attempt a 51-yard field goal here for the Tigers. As we start the second quarter, the snap, he's just going to pooch it. Clemson's got it covered inside the 15. It's a Tiger bounce and a roll and down to the 7.
That's Clemson playing that field position game.
Sauve had attempted only one field goal this year of 50 yards in length, and that turned out to be a fake. It's Shannon Miller and her U.S. Olympic friends in Charleston. Coming up December the 7th, the Olympic preview, the U.S. Olympic Rock and Roll Gymnastics Championships, features the 1996 U.S. Olympic Gymnastics team in head-to-head competition. Tickets on sale now at 803-577-4500.
Now South Carolina comes out in a 4 wide receiver look with 1 back. And again, Pritchett standing to the left, now directly behind Tannehill. He's his leading receiver.
And he's going to give it to him. And Pritchett wrapped up at the 5 by Anthony Simmons. Our Lee first quarter stats here. The rushing yards in Clemson's favor, the passing yards in South Carolina's favor. Absolutely no upset there. Total yards favoring South Carolina. The biggest drive of the game was the first drive, where Clemson took it from its own 10 and went down the field to score. 7-7. And the Gamecocks have it second down at 12 at the 5. Tannehill from the shadows of his own goalpost throws complete on the side to Davis, and Zola brings it out short of the first down at the 15. McCrory and Evans combining to stop him, but a nice grab on the sideline by Zola Davis, the redshirt freshman from Charleston.
Number 9, right side of your screen, white uniform, Dexter McLeon trying to go for the pick again. See, he just commits himself. And then Zola Davis doing a nice little dance job over there, just gets short of the first down. And here's where you might go out of the shotgun. You might draw it and pick up that first down yardage.
3rd and 2.
Shovel.
Inside. And it looks from here shy of the first down was Pritchett.
For Warren Forney, number 90, a nose tackle, doing a nice job reacting. I don't know if it's short, if they can afford to go for it. They've got to punt the football. You can't go for it deep in your own territory like this. They'll have to measure, though. Again, I talked about the draw. Well, shovel pass, similar play. Didn't quite work. It's Forney all over it. They're short by about 6 inches, 8 inches.
One of the hidden aspects, I think, of the game, Dave, is this field position game. Clemson loves to play it. You saw it with the fake field goal attempt here. Can pay huge dividends. It's tough to go 80 yards all the time.
Yeah, I mean, everybody wants them to go, and if they go, they'll probably make it, but it's tough because if you don't make it, you really put yourself behind. I punt the ball here, but then if you're South Carolina, you're saying, what do we have to lose? That's a tough place to go for it here if they don't make it. You got to kick the ball. You have to. This is the right move. Fans won't like it. They're going to boo. But, I mean, if you don't make it, look where you give Clemson the ball. You have to punt the football here. Now, of course, this is an ideal place to run a fake punt because no one expects it back here. But if you're going to run a fake punt, you might as well run an offensive play. And one thing that Clemson does want to do is get drawn offside or run into the kicker because it'll be a first down.
Antoine Wyatt is the single safety, 10 up front for the Tigers. Jeff Coate with the punt.
Another low kick. This one he won't field. Just go out of bounds.
And out of bounds at the 43-yard line. So, again, super field position despite a 45-yard punt. 7-7 Clemson in South Carolina. 13-19 to go in the second. And the way this game is settling down a bit, Dave, you get the sensation that the momentum is going toward Clemson. They're in control of the game right now.
Well, they've stopped South Carolina twice now. They've got the field position, and they're starting to pound the football.
Smith and Pegues are the setbacks. Green gets away from a little pressure, but then gets smothered back at the 40.
I'll tell you, the guy who made that play was Benji Young. You won't see him in the middle of your screen, but he took the pitch man. And Benji Young played, and they're going to call offensive holding now against Clemson, which I would almost refuse. I mean, I wouldn't take it because you lost 4 yards on first down. I just refuse the penalty and take the ball where it take the play.
Here's a look at Benji Young, the redshirt junior from Rock Hill, a solid all-around contributor at that linebacker spot.
He played the pitch man, so Green had nowhere to pitch it. See, I refuse the penalty and just take the play. Let's see what they did.
Holding. Offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul, and repeat first down.
Well, of course, it's from the spot of the foul, so it's more than 10 yards.
It turns out to be about a 12-yard penalty.
But
got some other scores. Florida State leading Maryland by 7 in the second. Tar Heels up on Duke. That big game in Charlottesville, Virginia Tech leading 14-7. And Florida begins its track meet against Vanderbilt, leading 7-0.
South Carolina, the four-man line, the nickel package in.
Late toss, batted down. South Carolina's got it.
The guy who made the play was Robert Smith, number 44. He was the one who made the play, causing the fumble, and Miller comes in to recover it. Watch number 44. He is going to get his arms around Green. See him coming down right there. He actually bats the ball away, and then Sylvester Miller, number 55, recovers. So there's a huge turnover. That's one thing I talked about early on that Clemson does not want to do.
Well, we talked so much about how Clemson had taken control of the game. Now they cough up the ball inside the 30, and the Gamecocks on the field asking the crowd to come to life as you see some other scores. Big Penn State lead over the Wolverines.
See if Tannehill takes it to the end zone first play.
Tannehill gets set. Pump fakes. Survives. Throws. Complete. But no gain. Means made the catch. Maybe a yard or two. Carlos Curry was the man putting the pressure on Tannehill. Next week, the Vanderbilt Commodores, the Tennessee Volunteers from Knoxville. 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central Time on your SEC station. Here we've got 12:20 remaining in the second quarter. South Carolina and Clemson tied at 7. Gamecocks have it 2nd and 8 after the fumble recovery at the Clemson 23.
See Tannehill looking to the sideline, getting the call. Now he's got to relay it to his team. That's why it takes him a little while here. Oh, there's Sapp.
Sapp came crashing through.
Sapp and Simmons.
Mr. Simmons, number 41, but Sapp, who really wanted to return a favor today if he had the opportunity to Mr. Tannehill, and got through there to put the big pressure on him.
Boy, Simmons right in the middle of the screen, a freshman, doesn't play like a freshman. Sapp from the bottom, you'll see them, both of them. They can't pick it up. No one back there. There's no one back there to help him out. That's the one thing about that 4 wide receiver look. When you do blitz and you get pressure, no one there to pick it up. There's Sapp.
Patrick said earlier this week, if I get a chance to get to him, I'm definitely going to communicate a message. Part of the emotion of this great rivalry. An 8-yard loss. Now Tannehill on 3rd and 16 goes to the end zone. Complete. Touchdown South Carolina, but a penalty flag back at the 36. Zola Davis made the great catch.
Probably holding because, again, they came on the blitz that time, and they're going to bring it on back. Davis, now let's see if we can pick up there's the blitz inside by Sapp. Didn't see the holding. It might have been right there on Sapp. Davis gets in for the touchdown. He doesn't realize right now there is the flag. It's also a flag in the middle of the end zone, too.
Ooh, didn't see that one.
Could be a celebration penalty, which celebrate a non-touchdown. So you're going to have 2 penalties here against South Carolina.
Now, how can you have that penalty? If it's not a touchdown, how can you celebrate?
We have a live and a dead ball foul. Holding on the offense. We have a dead ball, unsportsmanlike foul conduct in the end zone, also against the offense. Since it's a live and dead ball foul, both fouls will be administered.
Boy, this is a chunky yardage coming up here, folks.
Boy, keep an eye on Nesbitt, 79, middle of your screen or the center. One of those 2 guys held. It's right there in the middle of your screen. And then the celebration rule after the no touchdown. Again, Zola Davis doesn't know it's a touch. It's not a touchdown because of the holding penalty. Look at this. Wow.
all the way back to the South Carolina 39-yard line.
You know, something you and I talked about before the game, the importance of turnovers and how they affect your team negatively when you give it away. Well, Clemson gave it away, but with these 2 penalties, it's pretty much wiped out that turnover. Wow. 3rd down and 35. It's not like it's 2nd and 35, so you have 2 downs to pick up 35. You try and get it all at once. But if I'm Tannehill, you know, what can you do? You just try and get some yardage, punt the ball, and let your defense take over.
So now 3rd down and 45. 45, excuse me. 3rd down and 45 yards to go for South Carolina. Tannehill airs it out deep. Incomplete. Monty Means, the intended receiver. Oh, and look at Tannehill. He's all the way back at the 10-yard line, upset with the inability to get that play completed.
Yeah, because he had Means open. Means got away from Dawkins. There's a little miscommunication in the defensive backfield, and Tannehill thought he should have completed it. So, again, coming on the field now is Jeffcoat, who hasn't had a real good day kicking the football, and Wyatt has had an opportunity to make some big returns.
7-7 tie.
That's a low line drive punt. Look at the room he's got to return it, though.
Wyatt, he did not go down. He didn't touch. And back to the 14-yard line. A timeout on the field. 11 minutes to go here in the 2nd quarter. South Carolina 7 and Clemson 7. We'll be back right after these words. You're looking at the Clemson sideline, and this is starting tailback Raymond Priester. Pegues has been in there the last 2 drives for Clemson, and we're trying to find out what is wrong with Raymond.
Well, if you can see, they're stretching out his hamstring. He's had a hamstring problem. He got it last week, so must be aggravated a little bit. Now look at this, a tight end in the game for Clemson, left side.
And Green with the toss, and Pegues trying to cut that corner. Mark him out of bounds just shy of the 20. Joe Troop, the cornerback, came up.
But Pegues showing some speed there, getting outside. It appeared as though the defense had him cut off.
Pegues carried the ball 16 times against South Carolina last year, had 60 yards in the game at Clemson, and had a run of 26 for his longest effort of the day. He's a 5'11", 205-pound sophomore from Thomasville, South Carolina. 31 yards on 3 carries so far today for Lamont Pegues.
Clemson making the adjustment, going with a tight end, number 82, Lamont Hall. He's at the top.
2nd and 4, the inside handoff to Smith. And a yard maybe to the 20, 21-yard line. Brooks and Smith combined. That's Ronnie Smith, the inside backer, with the tackle.
I'll tell you what, Bob, right now it looks as though South Carolina playing the option a lot better than they did early on. They're taking the pitch man. That time it looked like an option. They tackle the ball carrier who didn't have the ball. There's the tight end who's been in the game. They tackle the quarterback and the pitch man. Meanwhile, Smith had the ball inside.
That tight end, 82, is Lamont Hall, sophomore from Clover. Lining up to the right this time.
Don't use him a lot.
7-7 tie. 10-15 left in the first half. Quick toss. Pegues fights through that hole, gets it out to the 31-yard line. And the Tigers have another first down.
Well, I tell you, their left tackle, Jim Bundren, he'll be on the left side of your screen. Top, really, the right side of your screen, the tackle just pulling out the block. See him right there? Number 79 with a nice block. Wyatt also downfield blocking. Gets crunched at the end. Like this kid Bundren. 9-yard gain there in that 3rd down play.
1st and 10 at the 30. Now whistle stops at South Carolina. Had to call a timeout. They were stuck with an extra man on the field. Wiggins was hustling to try to get off. But the Gamecocks, rather than take the penalty, call for the timeout with 9:51 left here in the first half. A timeout on the field here at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina. We'll continue with more of our coverage of the Clemson South Carolina game in just a moment. Along with Dave Jennings, Bob Rathbun in Columbia, 7-7. The Gamecocks and the Tigers. 9:51 left here in the first half. Tommy West's ball club has it 1st and 10 at its own 30. And they give again to Pegues. And wrapping him up right around the neck was Ben Washington.
Boy, they were screaming. The South Carolina bench was screaming for a hold on Robert Jackson, who is the tackle. You'll see him on the right side, number 72. Right there, he's holding up his man. They were screaming for a hold, but nothing was called. Pegues showing some good outside speed. And again, this game going pretty much as I expected. Clemson trying to run the ball. South Carolina trying to pass the ball. One turnover by Clemson did not hurt them. And there were 2 key penalties against South Carolina, which really hurt it. Bobby, you and I tried to figure it out during the break. About a 38-yard penalty on when you added up those 2. They'll have to measure for the first down here.
Pegues has carried it 5 times, 50 yards so far, Dave.
Yeah,
pace of the game about what you thought?
Pretty much. Again, the penalty really hurt, that double penalty. And Priester, of course, we expected to see him. It's a little short of the first down, but Priester with the hamstring problem may not return.
Yeah, as you had indicated, it is indeed that hamstring injury rearing its ugly head. And well, what a shame it would be if he couldn't get back in the game and have a chance for that record. Over 1,000 yards, 12:01 to be exact coming into the game, and trying to go ahead of Terrence Flagler on the all-time Clemson rushing list for one season.
Right now you got a 2nd and short, which is a situation where you can do some things. Again, to me, the key down is not 3rd down, it's always 1st down. What you do on 1st down dictates what you can do the rest of that series of downs. Now they got a 2nd and very short. I mean, knowing Clemson, they'll probably just give it to Smith up the middle. Smith up the middle.
And Ronnie Smith was there to tackle him. So a first down for the Tigers.
And the offensive line you look at them right here, they're much bigger than the defensive line for South Carolina. They weigh 288 pounds. Defensive line for South Carolina averages 248. That's a 40-pound differential for those big guys up front. You're looking at Trevor Putnam, the center. Roundtree, big guard. Starts with your center.
Putnam, the center, the ACC Offensive Lineman of the Week back on October the 23rd. Young also an Offensive Lineman of the Week in the ACC. Pegues nowhere to go.
That Benji Smith is so active. He's the middle linebacker for South Carolina. And again, your 4-3 defense, Benji Young is the guy who is going to be make most of your running plays, most of your tackles.
The linebacking core for South Carolina depleted somewhat. They lost Hank Campbell in practice back on October the 17th, and defensive coordinator Wally Burnham said the mood was like someone cut off our heads. I mean, that was a key man to lose. And Campbell going down with that knee injury, they're a little thin in that linebacking core.
Well, you start the season, you just don't know where your injury is going to come. You just hope you have some capable backups, some good depth.
2nd and 11. And Green coming to the near side. It is going to be caught by Wyatt, and it's out of bounds at the 40.
Boy, he got Troop going downfield, and then he cut it outside, and that was a real nice grab by Wyatt. You know, how many times do you see a pass like this? You're going to throw it to the left side of your screen. Again, you're going to see the separation between Wyatt. Look at the separation. Now, the low pass, he almost pulls it off the top of the grass. There you see him step out of bounds. They stop the clock.
Antoine Wyatt has caught a pass in every game for the Tigers this season. And as you can see on that play, great pair of hands. 7-7 tie, 8.5 to go in the 2nd quarter. Pegues inside to the 38 before Benji Young met him again.
Again, Pegues, a fast guy. You don't expect to see him running it up inside. You expect to see Smith inside, Pegues outside. It's not a bad average so far. Take away that last run, most of those yards are outside. Shows good ability to get to the corner and turn it upfield. Here's your quarterback, Green.
Of course, in this state, Tannehill, amongst the 2 marquee quarterbacks, gets all the attention. Play clock running down.
They're going to have to call a timeout.
And the Tigers have to burn that TO right here.
Play late coming in from the sideline. You could see Green signaling, get it in, get it in.
Well, the point I wanted to make, Dave, about the 2 quarterbacks, Green is a good runner and an adequate passer. Of course, Tannehill racks up the big passing numbers, but after you watch Nealon Green for a while, you get the feeling that this guy is in control of the offense, despite the fact that he's a sophomore, and has a nice savvy about him.
He does, you know, and any quarterback would like to throw the football, but this Clemson offense, you're not going to throw too much. You're going to hand it off.
Halftime coming up, and we'll check out all the scores in both the ACC and the SEC today. We'll have our nutrageous plays of the week. We've got some dandies for you this week.
Some good ones there.
And the halftime highlights here in Columbia and the South Carolina Olympic update of some of the great athletes from this state that have participated, all coming up at halftime. We mentioned the weather conditions here in Columbia today, just outstanding.
Didn't they call for a little rain here?
I think it was like a 20% chance, but just a few scattered clouds overhead, a bright blue canopy here in Columbia. Just a marvelous day for football. And not a seat to be had here at Williams-Brice Stadium. Shannon Miller and her U.S. Olympic friends. Coming up, the U.S. Olympic Rock and Roll Gymnastics Championships, featuring the 1996 U.S. Olympic Gymnastics team in head-to-head competition. December the 7th in Charleston. Tickets on sale now at 803-577-4500. 7-7 is the story of our competition here in the second quarter, with 7:51 remaining. Clemson on this particular drive, they've gone 8 plays for 48 yards, and they've taken some time off the clock. South Carolina opened the ball game and went right down the field to score some 90 yards to open the scoring. Then Clemson came back and tied it, and we haven't had any scoring since.
You know, you talked about Hank Campbell. He is here on the sideline on crutches. He was in that defensive huddle there. During that timeout, he walked right out on the field. He's on the sideline. It looked like he wanted to play.
2nd and 8 from the 38. And Green. Too long for Wyatt. Troop defending.
Yeah, that was pressure that time up the middle by the South Carolina defense, forcing Green to throw it early because Wyatt did get open on Troop. But again, that's your pressure on the quarterback. Force him to throw it a little early, and he's going to throw it inaccurately.
Looked like Henry Taylor, the defensive tackle for South Carolina, doing a little chirping down there as he put the pressure on Green. Green is 3 for 7 for 39 yards in the air today. Third and 8. Clemson 3 of 6 on third down conversions. Green out of the gun to the right and complete. It's going to be Tony Horn, and he is spun down shy of the first down at the 32. Terry Cousin was there, the junior from Miami.
Now just a quick screen outside. The offensive lineman can come downfield and block as long as he catches it behind the line of scrimmage. Horn just short of the first down. So what do they do here? I think they're going to go for it here. And I think, yeah, who are they sending out of the field? I see Campbell right there, 45 on crutches. I don't know if you can quite see. There are the crutches right there. He was on the field on that last time out. He was in the middle of the huddle. You know, Bobby, I think he was trying to find his helmet. He wanted to get in the field.
I'm sure that he would love to be in this game. Jeff Sauve is coming on. Out of the hold of Travis Harvey. This will be a 49-yard attempt if he kicks it.
Exactly.
He's going to try it.
Now it's no play. They ran out of time. I think they ran out of time. It should be a dead ball foul. If they ran out of time, it doesn't count. If they ran out of time, it doesn't count. And they will replay it. So they can't refuse a penalty and take the missed field goal.
5-yard penalty, dead ball foul.
See, it's a dead ball foul.
You can't decline it. Cannot be declined.
Tannehill, get off the field now. You can't decline. He's right out there. Tannehill's right out in front of the referee. But it's a dead ball foul, delay a game. You cannot decline it. So now they will come onto the field and punt the football.
And Laird will come in to try to drop it inside the 10 if he can.
It's like a false start. It's a dead ball fouls you can't refuse.
Although you'd like to. If you're South Carolina. 6:53 left in the half and a 7-7 game.
Look at this. South Carolina does not have anybody back to return it. Got everybody up front.
Freshman punter Kevin Laird waits. And let's see if the Tigers can cover it.
Good job. Good job.
Inside the 5.
They'll come back to where they initially touched it, which should be about the 6 or 7.
Now, it looks like they're going to mark it, Dave, inside the 5 at the 3.
No, they'll bring it back to the 7.
Andre Carter was down there to touch. 6:43 left here in the first half, 7-7. So the Gamecocks will have it. 1st and 10 from their own 7-yard line. 6:43 left in the half and a 7-7 tie.
How about this? South Carolina going with the tight end now.
Gamecocks sending Bridges in motion. Look at this run. Pritchett to the 37.
You know, Pritchett's carried the ball 78 times coming to this game, only 30 yards a game. He's got 8 touchdowns, but they loaded it up, brought in the tight end, just faked the toss, gave it inside. Nice hole right side line of scrimmage. Now he's gone. They were playing it outside.
A 30-yard run. The South Carolina offense, Dave, had gone cold. They had 95 yards of offense in their first drive. Since then, 17 until that big run by Stanley Pritchett. 1st and 10 from the 37.
Same thing going the other way.
Nicklau in motion.
Now they toss it.
And Staley. It may sound like a foo out there, but it's a deuce for Deuce Staley. McCrory, the tackle.
See, now that came off the last play. Same formation. They flip-flopped it, went motion the other way. Instead of giving it inside, they tossed it outside, but Clemson ready for it.
So, wouldn't you know, South Carolina gets out of the hole with a couple of running plays.
Now they take out their tight end. That was Jason Lawson, who was wearing number 41. He was a tight end in the game. Now they come back to their normal stuff. They'll go with the 4 wide receiver look out of the gun. Change their center, bring in Paul Beckwith. He wears number 53 for the shotgun snap.
And a nice catch that time by Bridges. Going to be close to the first down. I think they've got it. About the 48.5.
Boy, just a quick shot again. Going to the 4 wide receivers. Bridges is going to come from the left side of your screen across. Again, one thing South Carolina does is a pretty short passing game. Just a little hook pattern. Not a great throw by Tannehill because he threw it wide. As Bridges coming back, they give him the first down.
From the South Carolina 48.
Clemson showing blitz. See if they drop out of it.
Simmons coming hard. Simmons coming hard. Missed it. Tannehill complete to Monty Means. No, incomplete. Now they say trapped.
Yeah, well, you could see the ball lay free, but boy, I tell you, one thing I talked about was Clemson showing the blitz. 41 Simmons. You'll see him come right up the middle, untouched, but Tannehill showing a good knack to get free. Now he releases the ball. Here's the little behind him, a little low. You see the ball laying out there. Well, it's right behind the receiver. Incomplete. Good call by the official.
Tannehill 12 for 18 for 90 yards.
Here again showing the blitz. So I think Tannehill is going to call an audible. He's looking at the sideline to get some information. Going to call the audible. Now let's see if Clemson drops out of it.
They go the inside handoff to Staley. Patrick Sapp with the tackle. South Carolina gets into Tiger territory at the 44. 3rd down coming up.
You see the reaction that time? They read the blitz, so they go with that underneath play, but Clemson ready for it.
South Carolina is 0 for 5 in 3rd down conversions. They've got it 3rd and 2 from the 44. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in the first half.
Playing the blitz. See the backs come up to play the blitz.
Tannehill quickly to the outside. Means pushed out of bounds at the 31. 1st down, South Carolina.
See the 2 backs came up to play the blitz, so they go with a quick out to Means right side. He was wide open. Dawkins late coming over in coverage. You see just a quick 3-step drop, 1, 2, 3, and then release the ball outside. Dawkins, a safety, late in coverage. And you see Means with the out pattern for the 1st down. Good job by South Carolina.
Now at the Clemson 31, 1st and 10.
See again, Tannehill looking over to the sideline, getting the call from his coach. Now he's going to relay it to his line. See the offensive lineman listen. Now he drops back. Now Clemson comes up showing blitz.
Incomplete. Watson was able to deflect it. Davis, the intended receiver. Well, it really gets to be a cat and mouse game between the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator.
It's action reaction, and speaking of reaction, here's Speedy Watson getting in there to knock the ball away. But that's what happens. They come out with a 3-4 wide, so they come out with a nickel or dime package. Show blitz, all right, you audible. Then you drop out of it, so it is exactly. What are you going to do? You try and guess. Then you react, and here's Clemson. They're coming up again looking like they might blitz. Now they're going to drop out of it, only rush 3.
Tannehill to the near side, incomplete. Means pushed out of bounds at the 4. Dawkins was there to prevent the touchdown by shoving him out of bounds. A 27-yard gain.
Boy, wide open, and Pope, the free safety. There was a communication problem because Pope was there. He wears number 31. You see him over here, 31. He's not over there, so Dawkins has to come over. So I think Pope might have messed up on that play. Tannehill found wide open, no pressure, only rushing 3.
And they go inside.
Pritchett's got 8 touchdowns rushing. They like to get it to him down here, goal line.
The time remaining in the quarter. South Carolina trying to fracture this tie. They'll have it. 2nd down and goal at the 1. Pritchett with those 11 touchdowns this year, 8 rushing. He's the fullback. Staley is the tailback. The give to Pritchett. Plows in. And no indication yet. South Carolina thinking that he made it, but the officials say he was shy by just about a half a foot.
Well, you see they've got in the backfield Patrick Garth. He's number 65, a big defensive tackle. See if he stays in there on this play. He's going to stay in on this play.
Look at this. Kentucky up on Tennessee in the 2nd. And Michigan is on the board. It's now 13-7 in Happy Valley.
Look in the backfield, number 65 Garth, the big defensive tackle.
Trying to get Pritchett some room, and Clemson has stopped him again. Boy, a lot of white shirts there, Dave. Williams was there. Simmons was there. What a great stand for Clemson.
See, one problem when you load it up, you're giving away what you're doing. Sometimes it's better to widen the field with the 4 wides. It's much easier to run. But just look at it. Defense going to win this battle. They don't get any, the offensive line, no progress.
And now South Carolina takes the timeout. It's going to be 4th and goal.
But again, when you load it up like that offensively, well, the defense just reacts. Something we were talking about. They bring in all their big guys and just push against shove. And now Tannehill says, everybody come on off to the side. We want to talk about it. Next week, Bobby?
Tennessee and Vanderbilt. And it's going to come your way at 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central Time on your SEC station, our final telecast of the season. Well, there have been, what, relatively speaking, half a dozen momentum plays here in this first half. And this is a big one right here for South Carolina. 2:34 left in the half, a 7-7 tie, 4th down and goal coming up for the Gamecocks.
Remember, Clemson's score was on a 4th down on a 1-yard plunge by Smith, so they went for it. You know that South Carolina's going for it, but what I like to see on a goal line, you know, if you don't get in when you load it up on 1st down, widen the field. Just widen the field, bring in 4 wide receivers, because then Clemson has to bring in all their people to widen it too, and it's much easier to run. I don't know if South Carolina's got the size to be able to blow out Clemson down the inside.
This current drive has extended 91 yards. This will be the 12th play of the drive coming up. The scoreboard story here at Williams-Brice Stadium. Inches away.
Got the same formation. They got Garth, the big defensive tackle, going to stay in the backfield, lead it up. This is just player against player. This is just a physical match right here. Who's going to win the battle at the line of scrimmage? Now they put Garth over on the left side.
Pritchett. And Clemson has stopped him. A goal line stand for the orange and white preserves the 7-7 tie.
Some people will say, well, if you couldn't get it in 3 times, why do you try a 4th time? But again, it's just player going against player. Who's going to win the line of scrimmage? You want to get underneath. Each guy wants to get underneath. There's really nothing there. And that's just a great job. Mark Simpson inside doing a job for Clemson, getting underneath. Again, you just want to win your side of the line of scrimmage. Iman Evans, free safety in there. McCrory, the linebacker. Wow.
3 pops at it for Stanley Pritchett. He couldn't get in. And Tannehill, you can see him a little jawing right there. Of course, Clemson in celebration, the Gamecocks in frustration. And Brad Scott, arms folded. His team denied a great opportunity.
Now Clemson, they're not exactly sitting pretty.
No.
They got to get it out of here.
2.5 to play.
They're going to pass the ball.
And it's going to be Green faking. He's going to get out of the end zone and run it up the sideline.
See, that's when you pass on first down. No one's expecting it. But again, go back to that 4-down series. They just kept trying to pound it in, pound it in. Now here, they're expecting the run, a little play action inside. And Green does a pretty good job here getting away. Turns the corner. Now he's just going to get some positive yardage. Tony Horn right there with, well, I don't know if that was a nice block. He got in the way.
That's all it counts.
And it was all for naught because Green was stepping out of bounds. Well, that gives him some breathing room here.
Pegues
again,
to the 15.
He's not an inside guy. You know, and again, Priester not on the field. Priester has that hamstring. This is the 4th series he has missed. We'll have to wait till after halftime to see if he comes back. But Smith is the inside guy. Pegues has been the outside guy. Again, Clemson, you know, I don't think they're trying to score here by any means. They just want to run out this clock. Each team has a single timeout left. Both teams having to burn them early, so South Carolina does not have the benefit of being able to use a lot of timeouts. Clemson can run it down here.
2nd down at 9 at the 15.
See, here's where Pegues is better. See him get outside, Bob, but he wants to stay in bounds. That's the only problem. He'd like to stay in bounds.
Gets it up to the 20. They'll need 5 yards on 3rd down.
Again, Pegues better outside, Smith better inside, so the toss, he can turn the corner. Smith, not a great block, but he's able to get away from Young, turn the corner, like to stay in bounds. But now here's a pretty big play right here, 3rd and 4, and South Carolina, if they can stop him here, will call a timeout. Again, Pegues better outside, taking the toss. Young can't quite make the play, the linebacker, to get him out of bounds. So this is a pretty big play, because if they stop him, South Carolina will call a timeout, force them to punt, get the ball back with about 1:20 to go.
Pegues didn't
South
get
Carolina should call a timeout.
Robert Smith, number 44, with the tackle. And the clock has been stopped by the Gamecocks with 1:22 to play.
So they play it right. They use their timeout there at the end. Now they won't have any timeouts left, but with Tannehill with that offense, 1:20 left is on a tremendous amount of time.
Well, it's funny how things can change so quickly. Looked like Clemson in jubilation just had that great goal line stand, but they couldn't maintain that clock rolling and the ball control.
No, but the thing is, they've got the ball out. It was on a half-yard line when they took it over, so they've come out. They're okay.
But they were only able to take about a minute off the clock. U.S. Olympic Rock and Roll Gymnastics Championships coming up December 7th at the North Charleston Coliseum. Again, for tickets, it's 1-803-577-4500. And then the Figure Skating Championships will be the night before, December the 6th at the North Charleston Coliseum. Katarina Witt and friends in the skating event of the year. So don't miss that. South Carolina's Olympic Ice Extravaganza.
So now South Carolina may not go after the punter here. You can see for South Carolina, they have Daryl Nicklau back, averaging 7 yards a return, as long as 65 this year. He does have 1 touchdown.
Chris McAnally is the Clemson punter.
10-man up. Now they're going to drop it into a 9-man front. They're not even going after him. Long, low line drive. It's returnable.
From the 35, Nicklau.
Good job by Clemson.
And about 5 yards, contained it very well. And Tannehill and company will have 1:09 to work with here at the end of this second quarter in a 7-7 tie. A 43-yard punt and a 6-yard return. Stay with us at halftime. We'll update you on the JP scoreboard, and we'll get the latest from Lexington as Kentucky was stunning Tennessee in the second quarter. Our Reese's Nutrageous Plays of the Week, the first half highlights, and our South Carolina Olympic update. So Steve Tannehill, frustrated at the goal line a moment ago, now gets another opportunity. They've got to go 59 yards.
And Clemson just going with a three-man front, so he'll have plenty of time to throw the ball.
And down the sideline, it's complete to Zola Davis. That will take it down to the Clemson 37.
She was in coverage. Sapp was in coverage. Patrick Sapp, a linebacker. I don't like to see teams dropping 8 guys into coverage here because you're giving the quarterback all the time in the world. You got to go after the quarterback, force him to throw it early. Right now, Clemson on that play dropped 8 into coverage, only rushed 3.
That was a 21-yard gain.
Now they got a 4-man line. Sapp is in there. See what he does.
Trips left.
Okay, they're going to rush 4.
Tannehill is going to run it. And down to the 29. Mond Wilson, number 42, with the tackle. Under a minute to play in the half. South Carolina out of timeouts. 7-7 tie. And the Gamecocks at the Clemson 29.
Only rushing 3.
Complete. Bridges inside the 20 to the 18.
Now they will stop the clock while they move the chains.
Stopping it at 28 seconds to play in the half.
And now watch Tannehill, only rushing 3. He's got all the time in the world. They can triple team a guy, single on the outside. And he just Bridges just coming across the middle. Now the clock will restart. 23, 22, 21. Using a lot of time here. Using way too much time. They've got to get this ball snapped.
Tannehill to the near side. It's complete and out of bounds. Davis made the catch and stops the clock with 10 seconds left.
So what they have done now, they used up a good 8, 10 too many seconds because the clock restarted when they got the change set. So now they can only run about 2 more plays. This time they rush 5, but the quick pass. You see Zola Davis getting out of bounds, but they can only run 2 more plays. Now there's a 10-yard line, but it's got to be in the end zone or out of bounds. Because if they keep it in the field of play, the clock will run out. Clemson 4 down linemen. Rushing 4. Here comes Sapp.
Tannehill throws incomplete. He was unloaded as he was going down. Simpson had him wrapped up.
So now they got to kick the field goal here. They got no choice. Got to kick the field goal.
And it will be Reed Morton.
And that time they wasted, that cost them a play right here, Bob.
Now with 5 seconds to go. Excellent point, Dave, because those seconds were very precious. Reed Morton, a 27-yard attempt. He's 3 of 4. Less than 30 yards this year. The holder is Jeffcoat. And the kick is good. And that's the end of the first half. So the Gamecocks, on a Reed Morton 27-yard field goal, take the lead into the locker room. We're at halftime at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia, South Carolina, with the score. The South Carolina Gamecocks 10 and the Clemson Tigers 7. Halftime is straight ahead. Stay with us. With the Gamecocks leading Clemson 10-7. Now let's check out the best of the SEC. The best of the SEC is brought to you by Dr. Pepper, just what the doctor ordered, and Sonic, who invites you to drive in for a change. Mo Williams last week for Kentucky against Cincinnati, 3 touchdowns and 272 yards rushing. And Mo Williams continues to lead the SEC in rushing yards per game. Here in Columbia last Saturday, Danny Warfel of Florida went nuts in the first half with 5 touchdowns and 304 yards on the Gators' huge win. Warfel and teammate Eric Kresser continue to set the pace in passing efficiency in the SEC. In receiving yards per game, Ike Hilliard, 5 catches, 75 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the Gators' win here against the Gamecocks. He trails Joey Kent of Tennessee in receiving yards per game Kent at 93 per contest. And Stephen Davis of Auburn last week against Georgia, couple of touchdowns and 152 rushing yards. And in terms of scoring points per game, Stephen Davis and Madre Hill at the top of the heap at 9.6 per game. That's a look at Sonic's Best of the SEC, brought to you by Sonic and Dr. Pepper, who are giving you the chance to win tickets to a New Year's weekend bowl game. Drive into any Sonic drive-in to register to win. For the last 4 seasons, the road team has won this particular game. South Carolina trying to put an end to that trend as they lead 10-7 here over the Clemson Tigers. Our Nationwide Insurance SEC Scholar Athlete of the Week is offensive tackle Robert Couch from Vanderbilt University. The senior from Irving, Texas, has a 3.08 GPA in human and organizational development. Our congratulations to Robert Couch, our Nationwide Insurance Scholar Athlete of the Week. It's halftime at Williams-Brice Stadium in Columbia with our halftime score. The Gamecocks of South Carolina 10 and the Clemson Tigers 7. We'll continue with more of our coverage on the Lee SEC Game of the Week right after this. 10 and Clemson 7. Final seconds here of the break. Clemson will have the option to receive, and they'll take it here to start this second half. Take a look quickly at our halftime statistics, and the rushing yards, of course, favoring the Tigers. The passing yards, South Carolina. Dave, anything inside the numbers that kind of stand out at you?
Not really. It's just if you look at these numbers, relatively even, so you'd think you'd have a relatively even score. And the fourth number down on the left, turnovers won by Clemson, but didn't lead to any points. So turnovers haven't been a factor in this game. Really penalties to some degree. After that one turnover by Clemson, you see 4 for 51. Well, 2 of those were about 38 yards against South Carolina on the hold, and then the celebration dead ball foul in the end zone really hurt South Carolina.
With Clemson getting the ball, and you go back to the keys that you mentioned at the start of the ball game, ball control for the Tigers, keep Tannehill off the field, and trailing by 3, you'd love to come out and put together a nice solid drive to start the second half.
Well, you would, and use some of that momentum that you gained on that goal line stand end of the first half. Now, of course, South Carolina was able to get the ball back and kick the field goal, but I think Clemson must feel pretty good going to halftime, being able to stop them on the goal line.
Next week, Vanderbilt and Tennessee. And, of course, we'll keep you posted on what happens with Tennessee today as they are trailing at Kentucky in the third quarter. We'll keep you posted on that game as we move along with our second half here in Columbia. So the Gamecocks set to kick it off. And Steve Florio is the man that is going to boot it away. The deep men for Clemson, Antoine Edwards, number 1, and number 19, Antoine Wyatt, back at their 10. So we're set to go. Florio ready to boot it away, and here we come with quarter number 3 from South Carolina. Oh, knuckleball, and grabbed by Wyatt. Wyatt to the 30, Wyatt to the 35, and knocked shy. Now they'll have him down back shy of the 30-yard line. Scott Moritz was the man who made the tackle for South Carolina.
Again, a low line drive kick picked off of the air by Wyatt. Now he's going to take it up the left sideline. Gets across the 25 and dragged down about the 28-yard line. Nice play. A nice tackle, as you call, by Scott Moritz, a running back.
So the Tigers come up first and 10, and Nealon Green, the sophomore from New York. A solid first half for Green, both rushing and passing.
And again, Priester not in the game.
The toss will come to Pegues, and out to the 30-yard line before Ronnie Smith met him and brought him down.
A little change here offensively for Clemson. Not only is Priester again not in the game, but they've gone with Lamont Hall, the tight end. Normally they go with 3 running backs. 3 wide receivers, spread it out. And now the tight end will go out of the game, and they'll be replaced by a wide receiver, Woods.
Priester on the sidelines, and from every indication, looks like he's done for the day.
And now South Carolina going with a 3-down lineman and the extra defensive back option.
And Pegues couldn't get the block on the corner. Great pursuit by Ben Washington.
Yeah, a little help from the receiver. Wyatt, did you see Wyatt push him right into the running back? Well, watch Wyatt, number 19. He'll be at the top of your screen. Number 19 trying to block, and see him push right here. Pushed him, pushed Ben Washington, the strong safety, right in to make the tackle. And again, if you're wondering where Priester is, not in the game right now. Is Washington very excited? Priester is right there. Adjusting he may be coming back in.
Yeah. Well, you figure if he's going to come back after the halftime break, he'd be in there, but instead it's Pegues. Now on 3rd and long, a pass, and it's going to be complete. Great catch by Crooks on the far side. Clemson gets out of a big hole.
Boy, a little corner pattern that time. Took it to the sideline. And a nice pass by Green, and something you talked about. Green he looks like he's got some touch in there.
He's pretty accurate with the deep ball, Dave.
Yep, play action, throwing it. And again, they don't throw it a lot. You can see the double coverage, but not close double coverage. So Clemson gets out to their own 48-yard line.
25-yard pickup. 3rd and long, now 1st and 10. And the Tigers on the option. Green will keep it into Gamecock territory, and he stretches down to the 40.
See, the key thing there, they had the pitch man defense, but nobody had the quarterback. So Green, and that's the decision a quarterback has to make. Do you toss it or do you keep it? Now you see Green get out here on the corner. Somebody's got the pitch man, Washington, up on top. Nobody's got Green, so he just turns it upfield. Woods blocking downfield, almost gets rolled up on his knees, but pops back up nicely.
Penalty flags. Bundren,
a little false start.
.56 to play in the 3rd quarter. 10-7. Carolina leading. Clemson.
This almost reminds you of South Carolina's opening drive of the game.
Right.
Nice march down the field. Temporary setback here for Clemson.
1st and 15. They fake to Smith, the pitch to Pegues, and he is sandwiched at the 45. 55 Miller, 62 Sullivan, all around the football. When you play the option, Dave, from a defensive standpoint,
you stop becoming a football player to some degree because you don't go after the ball.
Exactly. That's just the point I wanted you to make.
Normally they say as a defensive player you go after the ball, but when you play the option you have to go after the guy you're assigned to cover. And if there's a communication breakdown or assignment breakdown, one of those guys is going to be open. You've got to play your man, not the ball.
Green to toss it. And it's complete. Grabbed by Horn. 1st down Clemson at the 20. Boy, right between Freeman and Neely. Great catch.
Yeah, Neely came over late. I think it was Freeman in coverage that time. But I tell you, Green is showing a good job of being able to throw the football. The old man, see, he's right there between Neely, the corner, and Freeman, just runs right by Freeman. I'm sorry, right by Neely, and gets in between Freeman. A good pass by Green that time.
1st down and 10 for the Tigers at the 20. And the pitch comes to Pegues. And some traffic as he gets to the 18. Wiggins and Cousin that time coming up. But Clemson trying to string this thing out, Dave. Well, South Carolina with good lateral pursuit.
See, he's the linebacker has a quarterback, and there are 3 guys over here. You can see Lee Wiggins. He's got the pitch man. So a good job that time by the defense of South Carolina playing the option. If you don't see it a lot, look at this score. How about this one, huh?
Good grief. Kentucky 24-12 in the 3rd over Tennessee. And Green takes it to the 16. Robert Smith with the tackle. We'll see the Vols next Saturday against Vanderbilt. And boy, there are some nervous folks in Knoxville right about now. 12:30 Eastern next Saturday. Boy, there's some huge bowl dollars hanging in the balance of that score. Three for 8 rather on 3rd down conversions for the Tigers. They're looking at 3rd and 6. Green wrapped up by Sullivan. Eric Sullivan.
He's their leading sack guy, makes the play, so forces Clemson going to settle for the field goal. But again, Sullivan kind of screws this up. Now watch him spin his wheels here. Never really gets much. It wouldn't have mattered if Sullivan makes the play.
Boy, and Sullivan, you mentioned leads in sacks. That's a tough spot to lead in sacks out of a defensive tackle.
Exactly.
Now Sauve with a 35-yard attempt to tie it. And this kick is good. Jeff Sauve ties it for Clemson, and it's 10-10 with 9:57 to play in the third quarter. Jeff Sauve, the senior from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania, has tied it at 10 on a 35-yarder. 9:57 left in the third in Columbia. Clemson 10, South Carolina 10. The Dave Jennings fan club made it down.
You said you needed 4 tickets for the game. That's where you put your guys,
those are my passes.
Next to my guys, too, huh?
9:57 left here in the third. A 10-10 tie. George Rogers, the great Heisman Trophy winner here. The boulevard named in his honor right outside the stadium. His Gamecocks and Clemson in a 10-10 tie. 74,990 today at Williams-Brice, the 6th largest crowd ever at this magnificent facility. Terry Cousin and Deuce Staley are the deep men for South Carolina. As Clemson gets set to kick it away, the very productive opening drive, Dave, in the third quarter to take it and get some points and tie the game.
Reminds you a lot of the South Carolina opening drive of the game, but South Carolina got 7.
Cousin from the 4. As a seam, got the block he needed.
Oh, my.
Man waiting for him at the 30 was Joe Woods.
Joe Woods, a receiver, making a great special teams tackle. You notice what Clemson did. Clemson kicked it as South Carolina's looking all the way over here to the right. South Carolina had to return all the way over to the left. So a good job by Clemson, but Cousin does a good job getting away from folks. Now watch number 2. See, he locks him up beautifully, sets his feet, makes a beautiful open field tackle. Normally receivers don't make that kind of tackle. As we look at the scoring drive.
10 plays, 55 yards. The Sauve field goal ties it at 10. Now Tannehill and company back on the field. And Steve will come under center this time. Staley is set behind him. Pritchett to the right.
That's how they open up the first half.
And they come back to Bridges.
Remember how they opened up the first half? Same play.
Sapp with the tackle.
Haven't seen a lot of gadgets from this team. Normally they'll do different things. Tannehill will catch. Here's the end around. Get about 5 or 6 on first down. Normally South Carolina, they pull out a bag of tricks and they'll do all sorts of different things. That's why it surprised me, that goal line stand in the first half. They just loaded up and ran the same play 3 straight times.
2nd and 3 from the 37. Now they jump into the eye and send Nicklau in motion. Staley looks for a hole.
Boy, that Simmons is a tough player.
Boy, nothing there. And a freshman, too,
Man, he does not play like a freshman. Leading tackler on his Clemson team. He read that beautifully. He's number 41, right there, middle of your screen.
Tommy West said earlier this week that he thought Anthony Simmons was the most productive freshman in Clemson history.
Oh, if you just watch film of him, this Clemson defense, and didn't know he's a freshman, you'd think he was a senior linebacker.
3rd and 2. Gamecocks were 1 for 7 in third down conversions in the first half. Tannehill wants to throw. Pressure. Dumps it over the middle, complete. And stretching out for the first down.
There's the tight end.
Jason Lawson. That's the first time that South Carolina has thrown to the tight end this season.
Well, and he looked like he really wanted it, too. He's left side of your screen. You just see him just release out. You can't see him yet. He's not quite in your picture. There he comes into your picture. Now watch him. He'll get hit. He doesn't know he's got the first down, so he gets an extra 2 yards. He had the first down yardage. Stretch forward. Wonder if he'll keep that football.
Yeah. He's got another year to go. Maybe not. 8:04 left in the third. 10-10 tie.
Take it.
Tannehill. Somebody had him around the ankles. Wide open on the far side for the Gamecocks.
I tell you, Pritchett got wide open because whoever had him in coverage went for that end around. See, they ran the end around twice, and they gave it to the receiver. This is the 3rd time they ran it, and they faked it. How far was that, Bob?
53 yards.
Now, see, Pritchett, who got the play action, he just released into the second. Look how wide open he is. Look at that wide open here. That's a huge play. There's your gadget play. Fake the end around. End around, set up things. Now here they're down here low on the goal line. Now they're going to spread it out a little differently than they did at the end of the first half. See how they spread it out a little bit?
Should give them a little more room to work with.
They could even go with 3 wide receivers here.
Tannehill floats into the end zone. Touchdown, South Carolina. Pritchett makes the 2 big plays, and the Gamecocks lead 16-10.
Nobody covered him. Nobody covered him twice in a row. He's their leading receiver. You would think they would cover him, but 2 defensive breakdowns back to back. He just releases out to the left. There's no one there to cover him. Look how wide open he is.
Boy, 2 terrific offensive calls for Brad Scott. Reed Morton coming on for the PAT. 7:46 left in the 3rd quarter. And South Carolina leads 17-10. One more look of Steve Tannehill's 2nd touchdown pass of the game.
Just maybe McLean had him. I don't know. Wide open.
Gamecocks 17-10. We're back in Columbia, and here's an update from Lexington, Kentucky 24 and Tennessee 12 in the 3rd. We will keep you posted. Next week we'll have Tennessee in their season ender against the Vanderbilt Commodores, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. But all eyes on that Kentucky score right now. Mr. Pritchett getting a well-deserved breather on the South Carolina bench. 2 big plays via his quarterback, Mr. Tannehill, and South Carolina leads at 17-10.
He's a leading receiver out of the fullback position. You wonder what's going on here. You figure Clemson will be covering him, but not on those 2 consecutive plays, one for the 54-yard and one for the touchdown. Now, one thing about Clemson, they don't like to get behind, but they're within a touchdown, so they don't have to get out of their game plan yet. They don't want to play catch-up, but when you're only down 1 score, it's not really catch-up at this point.
Here's the kick, and this one coming to Antoine White at the 10. Moves to the outside, pulled down from behind by South Carolina's Ben Washington. Here's a look at that South Carolina scoring drive. And this one went 70 yards in 5 plays. The 3-yard touchdown was preceded by the 54-yard pass to Pritchett. That's the big play, took 2:11. So now Tommy West, his Tigers trailing by 7. They've got it 1st and 10 at their own 30. Gamecocks trying to win their season finale, and for the seniors, what a big way to end it if they get the Tigers. Loose ball. South Carolina has recovered, it appears.
So it looked like Green wanted to hand the ball off to Smith, but then Smith didn't want it. So that could be a huge turnover, the 2nd one by Clemson today. Now watch the quarterback, Green, turn. He's going to hand the ball off to Smith. Does he hand it off or not? He pulls it out. No, he wanted to give it to him. I really think he wanted to give it to Smith, but Smith was by him. And Ben Washington comes in to make the recovery.
Washington fighting for that ball at the bottom of that pile. Coming up with it. 2 turnovers, and Green's coughed it up. You mentioned that earlier, Dave. He's got a tendency to give up that football, and now this could be a very costly turnover.
Last turnover, they could not score any points as a result of it. Couldn't take advantage of it.
Now Tannehill looks to the sideline and incomplete. Zola Davis tried to make the grab at the 21.
Got to catch those right in your hand. He kind of fought it. Some pressure that time on Tannehill, but didn't affect the pass at all.
Steve today has hit on 20 of 29 passes. You see the yardage. He's also hit 7 different receivers today, and that's part and parcel of the Gamecock
You
package.
look at their numbers, 7 receivers have over 10 receptions apiece, so he spreads it around. Not a long passing game, it's a spread it around game.
Bridges and Davis to the left. Now Bridges in motion. He gets the handoff. Bridges spins to the 25, and that's all.
Boy, Leamon Evans had him man for man in coverage. It turned out to be a running play. But Evans coming up to make a nice play. No gain on first down.
Steve Tannehill has practically rewritten the entire passing statistical book here in South Carolina. This is where he is in terms of the SEC. Career passes 59. Now, he's, of course, added 2 today, so he has 29 touchdown passes this season. That's a new South Carolina record. He would dearly love to claim a victory over Clemson in his final game. Now, time has been called with 6:45 left in the half. South Carolina has stopped the clock. They saw the play clock winding down and decided to burn a timeout.
Well, you saw Tannehill look to the sideline, couldn't get the play in, so he wisely called the timeout.
Now they'll talk about it. We'll step aside with 6:45 left in the third. Carolina by 7.
Scott Hamilton and others performing in the skating event of the year, the Rock and Roll Figure Skating Championships.
Katarina Witt and Company, the skating event of the year, the Rock and Roll Figure Skating Championships, December the 6th at the North Charleston Coliseum. For tickets, it's 577-4500. Bob Rathman, Dave Jennings here in Columbia. 17-10, Carolina leading. Tannehill after the Gamecocks timeout, pressured and sacked back at the 34-yard line.
Boy, Tony Planton came up from the left side. Also, Sapp got in there, and that's a huge sack, because that pretty much puts him out of field goal range. Planton, number 96, you'll see him right side of your screen. Then he comes across the center's face, makes the sack. So that is a huge sack, because not only does it prevent the first down, it puts him out of field goal range, and now they've got to punt the football.
17-10 South Carolina here midway through the third. That was a 9-yard loss, and now Derwin Jeffcoat will punt it from just about the 45-yard line.
Nobody back for Clemson. It's much too far. Well, is it?
And that's going to bounce and now go into the end zone. It hit it about the 2.
See, when there's no one back there, you don't have to make it that fine. Hit it on a 15, let it dribble down.
5:53, the time remaining here in the third quarter. Here's a look at this week's Burger King Top 10 fan poll, where you, the fan, votes for who's number 1. And this week's number 1 team is Nebraska, followed by Ohio State and the Florida Gators, and you see Tennessee down there at number 7, Alabama at number 10. Stop by your local Burger King restaurants to find out how you can cast your vote for number 1.
How about Northwestern?
Isn't that a great story?
That is a super story.
Boy, everybody around the country, I think, Dave, rooting for Northwestern every week now.
Priester not back in the game. They've gone with a tight end.
And a couple of tough yards up to the 22-yard line for Pegues. Ronnie Smith, the inside backer, making another tackle. We've called his name a lot this afternoon.
We have, and one thing, though, it's too bad if you're a South Carolina fan. They've got 2 turnovers and gotten 0 points from both turnovers. So I guess, it's a good sign for Clemson, and South Carolina would like to take advantage of those turnovers.
And look there, Dave, at number 27, Raymond Priester now back in the ball game for the Tigers on 2nd and 8. And they're going to fake it to Priester. Green's looking to throw. He's got his man Horn. Tony has the first down. And finally, Ben Washington takes him down at the 35-yard line. Freeman also to help out.
If you're South Carolina, you think you take a look and see Priester back in the backfield. You think, well, they put him in there to give him the ball. Well, play action, don't give it to him. And now Horn releases on the left side, right side of your screen as you're looking at it. And there he is, wide open. Hold on to that football.
Washington's always around the ball, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
Tony Horn to the sideline. And Crooks takes his spot.
There's Priester.
And a big hole for him. Puts that head down and gets an extra yard. Freeman stopped him. But a good gain for Priester up to the 42.
And I'm sure the offensive linemen are aware that he's back in the ball game, and they might block a little differently for him, but he takes it, just turns his head upfield. Good blocking by the right side of the offensive line. Take the right side of the offensive line. Morgan, number 73. Good job.
2nd down and 3. Priester met by that man again, Ronnie Smith. They'll mark his progress at the 45 about the 43. They're going to be a couple of yards shy.
They've got to get on the about just shy. Well, they've got to get over the 45-yard line by about 6 inches. They've tossed the ball twice to Priester. Both times he's run right side.
We just received a score update here in the booth. Kentucky 24, Tennessee 19. That's the latest we have here in the booth. So the Vols are getting a little closer on the road. 3:40 left in the third quarter. Here's Green. And complete. Couple of missed tackles, and we got some open field running. Here comes Wyatt. He's going to go all the way and score for Clemson.
No flags. Boy, I thought he was out of bounds there for a second. 57-yard touchdown pass and run. Boy, how about that? How about the sack that kept South Carolina out of field goal range? They had to punt the ball away. Man, watch right side of your screen. A little play action here on 3rd and 2. Find a wide open Wyatt. Now, does he go out of bounds? No, he stops. Now he turns it back. Just bad tackling here by South Carolina. 4 missed tackles. And now it's just take it on in the end zone.
And the kick is good by Sauve.
Wow.
That ties it at 17. Boy, Ron Neely, it looked for all the world like he had him stopped. And somehow Wyatt broke the tackle.
Boy, you can't let a guy come back from the sideline. Use your sideline as an extra man. Don't let him come back. He can't go to the sideline because it's out of bounds, so don't play him inside. You got to play him outside. And Wyatt's gone for the touchdown.
That ties the game at 17 for Wyatt, his 5th touchdown of the season. And for Nealon Green, that is his 10th touchdown pass of the year.
Just keeps doing it. Takes it on upfield.
Well, that is the one thing. You talked about missed tackles, Dave, and that is the one thing that the South Carolina defense has been guilty of, and it really burned them right there.
And the thing is, they had him pinned in on the sideline. They had him pinned right in on the sideline. Don't play it so he can cut back inside. Play it so he has to cut back outside, and outside in this case would have been out of bounds.
17 all. Late in the third here. There's the Tennessee score we updated a moment ago. Kentucky leading by 5 now in the third. Penn State by 3 over Michigan in the fourth quarter. Florida State rolling over Maryland 45-17 in Tallahassee. And Duke still up on North Carolina 24-21. The Virginia Cavaliers now pulling away from Tech 29-14 in Charlottesville, and Florida having its way as anticipated against Vanderbilt. Now the special teams for South Carolina will be called upon to give their ball club good field position. They've got great men back there in Cousin and Staley to take the Clemson kick. 3:23 left in the third, tied at 17. A whale of a ball game in Columbia. And this is Staley at the 20. And Clemson does a pretty good job keeping him inside the 30. They knock him out at the 29. Brad Pope, who's made a couple of good hits on special teams, knocks him out of bounds. SEC football continues. The league game of the week next week will come from Knoxville when the Commodores and Volunteers renew their ancient rivalry at 12:30 Eastern and 11:30 Central Time. Now the Gamecocks, after Clemson has tied it on an 80-yard 5-play drive, with the football 1st and 10 from the 29. Tannehill will work out of the shotgun. Fakes the inside handoff, floats it out wide, and a great tackle by Dawkins. Means caught it, but could do nothing with it.
Well, you know what you said exactly. You said floated it out there. That gave Dawkins a chance to really come up. Watch how this pass just floated. See how he's got to look up? Dawkins, plenty of time to react. You want to cut down on that amount of time defensive player has to react, and Dawkins right in to make the play. Only a gain of about 2 on 1st down. So you look at Tannehill. He's looking over here to the sideline to get the call in. Now he's going to relay it to the rest of the offense.
And the play clock at 8. Incomplete. A drop ball by Means. Well, that doesn't happen very often, Monty.
Didn't we see Davis do it on the previous series?
Yes.
Again,
yes.
Just fighting it. You know, that'll drive a quarterback crazy. I give it to you in your hands. A little low snap on the shotgun, but Tannehill doesn't panic. Now he throws it right over here, right in Means. Almost looked like he turned before he caught the ball.
3rd and 8. The Gamecocks trying to put a drive together, but so far the Clemson defense has been equal to the task. Here's Tannehill. Pumps and runs and now throws, and it's complete. What a grab by Zola Davis. Climbed the ladder to bring it in. First down, Gamecocks.
Boy, Davis on the right side. You know, the thing about this one, watch him run down the right side, get open, get behind McCleon, right? Little fake. Now he's going to turn it up, get behind McCleon. Now watch him get hit after he catches the ball, holds on to it. That's a great concentration. Evans with a great hit. Great catch and concentration by Zola Davis, the young receiver. Second leading receiver on this South Carolina team.
17-17 tie. 1st and 10 for the Gamecocks over midfield. Inside Staley looks for running room, but Clemson is there. Antoine Edwards, the free safety, and Patrick Sapp, both there.
Boy, and you see Simmons, the linebacker, one of the inside linebackers, went into a nose tackle position, shot the gap, got back there, but flew right by him on the handoff.
2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. The clock moving. Tied at 17. From the Clemson 47. Complete to the 43.
Complete to Darryl Nicklow.
Nicklow made the grab.
Andy Ford.
Ford was defending, Andy Ford. And Tennessee has now taken the lead. They've added a touchdown, and it appears a 2-point conversion now. And the Vols lead by 3.
Big 3rd down play here for South Carolina. Only rushing 3 is Clemson.
And incomplete. They tried to go to Pritchett. That time Clemson had him covered.
Exactly. I think they might go for it here. What do you think? No, they're going to send out the punter.
With you in the booth, my first inclination is to punt it.
Yeah, but you know, this is a, I guess they're playing a field position game, tied 17-17, 107 left, 3rd quarter. This time Clemson sends back a return guy.
Jeff Cote is the punter. McCleon is the single safety for the Tigers. And this one is going to boom all the way to the end zone. So Clemson will have it at the 20 with 59 seconds left here in the 3rd quarter. 17-17 tie.
Well, he's not a happy man, Jeff Cote. Can't see, look at him shake his head. Can't get that ball to get inside the 10-yard line.
What's one of the secrets of that? Vandy, Tennessee, next week in our league game of the week.
I think one of the keys to putting it inside of 20 is aim for the corner, because if you kick it a little long, it'll go out of bounds.
Now the Tigers. Final seconds of the 3rd. Give it to Mr. Priester. And Raymond has a Clemson first down. Chris Abrams the tackle, but not before Robert brought it out to the 32. And now that he's back in the game, we'll update you on how many yards he has.
Look at this block here by number 18. That's Smith. Kicking out the linebacker. Great job by Smith to open up the hole.
Priester needing 58 to become the Clemson single season record holder, and he's got 28 yards today. The fake. Now the option. Green, nice cutback up to the 37. Sylvester Miller on the stop. 20 seconds to go in the 3rd quarter.
Clemson might just let this run out.
And apparently that is going to be the case. They're looking at 2nd down and 5 from their own 37. Here's Priester needing 30 yards. And now the quarter has indeed expired. So 3 in the books in Columbia, South Carolina. And we get set for what should be a delightful 4th quarter. Tied at 17. We'll be back with the 4th and final quarter from Williams-Brice Stadium right after these words. 17-17 at the end of 3 here in Columbia. The Clemson Tigers have the football. Art Lee, statistics through 3 quarters of play. 261 yards passing for Tannehill. Good balance for Clemson, probably their best of the year.
Absolutely.
Green on the toss. And Priester getting out to the 40-yard line. Sullivan and Wiggins combining for the Gamecocks.
You know, with Priester in there, they don't run the option so much. When Pegues is in there, they do run it. So a little different offensive philosophy.
Third down and 2.
When you tied 17-17, every like third down play is big, and this is one of the big ones.
Green, some daylight. He's got the first down and more into South Carolina territory at the 49.
Well, just as I say, they don't go the option too much to Priester. That time, South Carolina played Priester, and nobody took Green. Watch Green turn it up. Everybody's outside on Priester. You saw Brooks over pursue that time. Abrams has to come in to make the tackle. Now watch him go to Priester. Everybody reacts to Priester. There's Brooks. Now he turns it up inside. Safety coming up to make the play. That's number 28, Chris Abrams.
Green is having a terrific day in terms of total offense, rushing and passing. Here's the toss, and Priester just keeps those legs moving down to the 44. Miller the tackle. Green today has rushed the ball, Dave, for 53 yards and passed it for 164.
Passed it for a lot more than we expected. One thing, talking to the Clemson coaches earlier in the week, they said, we're not so concerned how many passes he throws, we're concerned how many he completes. Because if they only throw 8, well, if they complete 6, they're in good shape. But he's shown a good touch on the ball today. And with Priester coming back, you wonder why, you know, it took so long to get him back, where they were just saving him here for the 4th quarter, or it took that while to work that hamstring loose.
Priester to the 38. And you got to believe, too, Dave, this is exactly what Clemson wants to do. Just run the ball right down the throat of South Carolina.
Boy, they do. You know, they've got a big advantage on the offensive line. They outweigh the defensive line by 40 pounds. Robert Jackson, the right tackle, number 72. Look at number 72, top of your screen. Also 18. Follow 18 Smith. There's a block right there, and 72, the kick-out block. So the first down is picked up. 13 minutes and counting, tie ball game.
Green inside to Smith, and Emery getting a couple down to the 35. He's kind of like the lead boulder in an avalanche. I mean, you hand him the ball and get out of the way.
And obviously Priester, who has had a chance to rest and get fresh, comes in pretty strong here. You have to wonder if that hamstring could go on him, but he is. They haven't been shy to give him the football. All he needs, as you can see, 17 yards to break the record for single-season rushing by a Clemson running back.
12 and a half to go in the ball game. Tied at 17. Clemson at the Gamecock 35. And a hole up the middle for Priester. Great gain down to the 25. Aubrey Brooks. And the point you made, Dave, that offensive line, as the game wears on, the hole's starting to get a little bigger here in the 4th quarter.
Keep an eye on 52 right there. Breaks the tackle. That's Shane Burnham, one of the linebackers. I think the offensive line may be starting to wear down the defensive line of South Carolina. And one thing you might see happen, Bob, is with Clemson running the ball so well, you'll start to see the defensive secondary, the safeties especially, kind of creep up to play the run, and then that pass becomes a little more wide open. Right now the safeties are back.
Smith.
Look at that.
What a great effort. Down to the 5.
This is just battle of the offensive line winning here. See right up. Look at the hole. I mean, there's nobody there. See, Wiggins missed the tackle. Now Cousins. Just look at the offensive line open up the hole here. Just wide open. Now you get a big guy like that moving. Now South Carolina's got to call a timeout. They're not ready.
Clemson on the doorstep to seize the lead with 11:39 to play. The Gamecocks now have only one timeout left. 11:39 to play, and the Tigers are threatening to break this 17-17 tie. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The score tied at 17 with Clemson on a doorstep. And one big difference here. Look at the difference between the offensive line of Clemson and the South Carolina defense. There's 40 pounds difference, and here you can see it starting to wear him down.
Now we're back live. And Priester, touchdown, Clemson.
Well, I'll tell you, Bob, Priester has made a difference here on this drive. He's come back in the game. They've gone to him, and he has scored. And Clemson has scored. This will be 17 points here in the second half.
Raymond Priester now with 57 yards rushing for the day. Puts Clemson up 23-17. And for Priester, that is his 6th touchdown of the year. And now Sauve coming on to try the PAT. A great ball control, win it up front drive for Clemson.
That's Terry Cousin coming off. Appeared to be shaken up on that play. One thing that's hurt South Carolina, they've had to use up 2 of their 3 timeouts here already in the second half.
Great drive for the Tigers. 10 plays, 80 yards. Now Sauve with the kick. 24-17. Much to the delight of Tommy West on the far sideline. The Clemson Tigers have taken the lead at 24-17 on Priester's run to pay dirt. Clemson 24, South Carolina 17, and they got the lead for the first time today on this Raymond Priester run.
Look at the block by Smith, number 18, the fullback. Roundtree pulled from his right guard position. Real nice blocking up front, and the offensive line really starting to take control of this game as Priester comes back healthy.
And Priester now has tied Terrence Flagler for the Clemson record for most yards in a season. See him right now at the top of the heap in 5 fewer carries.
Well, he'd like to make that 188 attempts.
Yes, he'll get his opportunity, no doubt. Deuce Staley waiting for Sauve to kick it off here. He's back along with Kerry Hood for South Carolina. Hood, the freshman from Atlanta.
So far today, Bob, Clemson has rushed for 213 yards. They run, on the average, over 300 yards a game.
And Staley. Right return. Up to the 23. That time it was Michael Allen, number 10.
Quarterback.
Able to kind of...
He's a quarterback.
Weave his way in there.
He did a great job playing off the blocks and then facing him up and making a tackle. A quarterback. Boy, we saw Joe Woods, a receiver. Good job by the special teams.
Well, now South Carolina hoping to get some energy and enthusiasm from this sellout crowd. Now faced for the first time of the day with the football and trailing 24-17.
And let's see if Clemson goes after him with a blitz. Their defense feeds off their offense.
Incomplete, nearly intercepted.
Boy, Simmons, the middle inside linebacker, had that ball right in his hands. I think it just surprised him, as he could have picked that off. Simmons dropping back into coverage. You see him right in the middle of your screen, number 41, just dropping back. He'll read Tannehill's eyes. See, just drops back. Now he's looking right at him. He sees it. It just came up on him too fast. He'd like that one back, I'm sure.
Tannehill today, 24 of 35 for 261 yards and 2 touchdowns. The scoreboard story here, Clemson taking control, 24-17. Now penalty flags fly.
Yeah, you know, Simmons came up inside. They might have run out of time, and the offensive lineman, the center, would not snap the ball because he was making his line calls. So it'll either be a false start or delay a game. I didn't see a false start. No, it's a delay a game. See Simmons right there. He came up in the line to play like a nose tackle position in the center. Started calling out the line calls because Tannehill called for the snap. When Tannehill lifts his leg, that's a silent snap count. The center sees him lift his leg saying, I want the snap. But the center looked up, saw Simmons there and said, well, I can't snap it. I've got to make my adjustments. Meanwhile, the clock runs out.
So 2nd and 15. And the ball.
There's Simmons again.
At the 18-yard line.
See Simmons right to the left of the center. Now he drops out.
Tannehill flushed out. Gets away. Wants to go deep. Little bump and run. And incomplete.
Tannehill was across the line of scrimmage. Tannehill across the line of scrimmage.
Raymond White had him by the shirt, and he got rid of that. But was beyond the line. So all for naught.
Almost has him right here, Raymond White, but here he's just across the line of scrimmage. So it's an illegal forward pass. Tannehill tried to politic for that one. Hey, Kentucky coming back a little bit.
34-31 in the 4th. The Vols and Commodores will be featured next Saturday in our Lee SEC Game of the Week from Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central.
Hey, Bob, you know what's hurt South Carolina today? Penalties.
Yes. And I'd like to see the breakdown, too, Dave, of those penalties against offense and defense. I would think the offensive unit has been penalized the most.
Yeah, well, they moved it back here. Lost it down. It'll be 3rd down.
Oh, that's a costly mistake right there.
Got to get up to just shy of the 34-yard line.
11:10 left to play. Tannehill unloads, and it is complete and out of bounds, shy of the 1st down by a bunch. Monty Means made the catch at the 27-yard line. As you mentioned, they had to get to the 34.
Now they're going to punt the foot again. They have to punt the football. Crowd doesn't like this, but you don't want to give the ball to Clemson the way they've been running the football. Give it back to them at the 30-yard line. Again, if they have a fake, they might want to think about it here.
Antoine Wyatt is deep. Derwin Jeffcoat is the punter. And here's Wyatt. Well, he's got a pretty good head of steam. Cuts to the outside, 50, and out of bounds in front of the Clemson bench at the 46-yard line.
You know, and that's one thing that's helped Clemson a lot. They've got better job on the field position with the punting game. Low punts by Jeffcoat, good returns by Wyatt. I mean, look where they have the ball. They have the ball at the 46-yard line of South Carolina.
Clemson leading it by 7. They've got the ball back in South Carolina territory. And here's the penalty story that you talked about, Dave. South Carolina 6 and 6 for 59 is really hurt.
And penalties, you know, they never come at a good time, but they've really come at crucial times for South Carolina.
Working on that
Boy,
play.
Benji Young just beating the block of the fullback, Emery Smith.
We noticed, too, that Ronnie Smith, the inside backer for South Carolina, is on the bench. Number 50, banged up knee. He's not in there. So an already thin linebacking core, a little thinner. Looks like they've put Shane Burnham in the game to fill that injured spot. And there's the record. Raymond Priester gets it down to the South Carolina 40, and with that rush becomes the single-season Clemson record holder for yards gained on the ground in 1 year. And our congratulations to Priester. He knows he's got the record, and as every good running back should do, thanks his offensive line.
And he should thank Emery Smith that time, the big fullback with a lead block. And now another big 3rd down play here for Clemson in this ball game. We're inside of 10 minutes now, folks.
24-17. Green. Complete. Wyatt on the far side, out of bounds. 1st down, Clemson at the South Carolina 33.
Big play.
There are a lot of things that can change momentum. But the one thing, as you see Priester, And we'll show you the numbers up to date. The one thing I think that probably does more to change the momentum in the overall scheme is line play, Dave. And the way Clemson is dominating the line of scrimmage right now is just taking all the enthusiasm out of the home crowd.
Especially here in the second half. It's where it's really come to play.
Priester, look at him go. 20, 15. And Russell down inside the 5. Chris Abrams with the tackle. There's a penalty flag back at the 16.
Look at that hole, just wide open hole, a big block by number 59, Will Young. Now he gets chased down by Abrams.
Penalties against Clemson.
Well, we'll bring that one back, clipping against Clemson.
.32 to play. Clemson 24, South Carolina 17.
Think it was against Crooks? Tommy West talking to him.
Usually a tip-off.
Yep.
Come here, young man.
So they get the first down, but now they make it first down and 8.
Green.
The one thing,
and the flag goes down, maybe a face mask.
Look like a face mask in there. One thing you don't want to do if you're at Clemson is, too many ball exchanges, too many pitches here. You want to put this game away, hold on to the football. Again, Green turning it upfield. You'll see him. He's not going to pitch it here. Priester's going to run outside. No, that's not Priester anymore. I'm sorry, folks. It's Anthony Downs, the tailback, and there you saw the face mask.
You're looking at Emery Smith, number 18, and Anthony Downs is back there with him. 9:18 to play. Clemson 24, Carolina 17. The penalty yardage should give Clemson a first down, and it does at the 22. Downs.
Look at this.
Downs to the 3, fumbles it, but they're going to call him down at the 2. That knee touch before he bobbled the football.
I tell you, they're just getting into the secondary at will now.
Washington and Abrams, but a little late.
Yeah. Look at these holes. Wide open holes. Downs just takes it downfield. A nice run. They see he's down here. Now the ball pops. He's well down.
South Carolina may be well done if Clemson can score. It's 24-17 with 8:50 to play. Priester's back in the game.
Look for Smith to carry it.
Green. He's going to take it himself for the touchdown.
Well, I think that South Carolina was looking for Smith to carry it, and Green just took it in himself.
Nealon Green.
He just carries it. They've got the pitch man covered, but they can't tackle Green. Again, they've got the pitch man Priester covered. You'll see him covered out here. They can't make the play on Green.
Tigers, Jeff Sauvé with the point after.
That's 3 touchdowns in a row for Clemson.
And 262 yards rushing. Clemson 31 and South Carolina 17. 8:40 to play in the 4th at Williams-Brice. Innings on hand here in Columbia, and the Tigers dominating here in the second half on the ground. Great run by Green for the score. Clemson now leads it 31-17 with 8:40 to play, and the Gamecocks in dire need of a good return and to get Mr. Tannehill hot again.
Now again, they run gimmicks, and they'll run a throwback or reverse on the kickoff, so Clemson has to be ready for that. They pop it up short.
And this is going to be Returned by Staley up to the 23-yard line. Brad Pope again. Good coverage for the Tigers. Now, if you're Steve Tannehill, Dave, what's going on in your mind? You've seen a lot of pressure here in the second half. Clemson has really put the heat on you.
Yeah, they have, and they're going to have an extra 10 yards to go because there's a holding penalty on that kickoff, so they'll move him back inside the 10. But you know what he's thinking? That, hey, this is my last game. You know, I'll probably get drafted. I'll probably get a shot in the pros. I may not start in the pros. This is my maybe my last shot at glory. I want to take it down the field and lead our team to victory. So he's got to be very excited and somewhat anxious right now. He wants to make things happen. Sometimes when you try to make things happen, though, you can force it and throw an interception.
When you think back to all that Tannehill has accomplished, nothing when he gets hot is beyond comprehension. That game he had against Mississippi State earlier this year was a thing of beauty.
And one thing I do if I'm Clemson, I don't play it soft. I don't drop 8 guys into coverage because Tannehill will pick you apart.
Over the middle. And Nicklau, and he's knocked down. No gain. Brian Dawkins, number 20, making that hit. South Carolina rolled up 252 yards in the first half, Dave. Here in the second half, the Clemson defense has stopped Tannehill and company 104 yards.
They've been a little more aggressive defensively. And again, one thing that the Clemson defense does, when their offense starts clicking, their defense picks it up.
Sapp was coming. Tannehill unloads it and through the hands of Monty Means. A penalty flag goes down.
Yeah, there's going to be a penalty. That's on number 43, Andy Ford. He got beat. He tried to make the tackle, couldn't make the tackle. So that saves him a bunch of yards because it'll just be pass interference, just a 15-yard penalty. Now watch Means get by his man. See, he just beats him. Now watch it. See, grabs him. But that's not a spot penalty. That's only going to be a 15-yard penalty. Be it first down, but they'll only get up to the 26-yard line. So Ford might have saved quite a few yards with that play. Might have saved 7.
Kentucky with 5 minutes left, trailing Tennessee by 3, 34-31.
Again, pass interference, just a 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage.
7:52 left here. First and 10 for the Gamecocks. 31-17 Clemson. Pritchett to the 29. Anthony Simmons along with Brian Dawkins there. That clock rolling, and keep in mind South Carolina has only 1 timeout to work with.
That's right. Clemson gets the ball back. If this is a long drive and Clemson gets the ball back, they can just shut it down. Again, South Carolina, while they throw the ball, not a big downfield passing team. They're more of a possession passing team.
Complete to Bridges. Out to the 40. First down for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, and he lost the ball.
Loose ball. Now the officials are going to say South Carolina will maintain possession. Boy, Clemson sure thought they had it.
Yeah, Bridges just goes down, turns. Now he gets hit. Can't see where the ball comes free, but nevertheless, a South Carolina ball. 7:15 and moving.
Ball out to the 40-yard line of the Gamecocks.
See, one thing, it takes Tannehill a long time to call the play.
Inside handoff to Pritchett.
Boy, that's Simmons. That Simmons is a player. Man. That's all I can say.
This young man, 3 times has been named ACC Rookie of the Week, 2 times the ACC Defensive Lineman of the Week. And you can see why. I mean, this kid is just all over everything. And a freshman. He's made 8 tackles today. Tannehill on 2nd and 10. Incomplete. Now a penalty flag way back downfield at the 25. There was some double coverage down there with Zola Davis and some jawing back and forth. And the official dropped the flag.
There you can see way downfield. Not sure what it is. I think it's against South Carolina, the way Clemson's reacting.
Well, now that offsetting penalties, unsportsmanlike penalties against each team.
Which it should be, I would think it'd be 3rd down. And they change it to 3rd down, yes.
It is 3rd and 10.
Tommy West don't look too happy right now.
6:25 to play. 3rd and 10 for the Gamecocks.
They got 2 downs to make it. Keep that in mind.
Tannehill throws it. Nice grab off the shoe tops that time by Staley, but well shy. Dawkins came up to make the hit. He'll spot the ball at the 40. They've still got 10 more to go.
Yep. Again, Tannehill just gets a lot of pressure inside. Here comes the pressure. Throws it up, but good coverage downfield. Good job by Dawkins. Called his name quite a few times. So this in effect could be the ball game.
Right here. 4th and 10 for the Gamecocks.
Got to get just over midfield. Clemson only rushing 4. Here comes Sapp.
Tannehill gets away from Sapp. Throws complete. Nice catch by Davis, and the Gamecocks remain alive down to the Clemson 40-yard line. Antoine Edwards defending, but a nice catch by Zola Davis on a very big play for the Gamecocks.
Davis, top of your screen, he's going to come down and across the middle. He gets wide open on Antoine Edwards. Appears though they play a little zone coverage. It's Matt McLeon there late. Good pressure that time on Tannehill, but he spotted it and got away from it. Clock continues to run. 5:24 and going.
Tannehill has gone over 300 yards for the day.
Is he going to throw it? Is he going to throw it?
Yes, he is, and it's going to be complete down to the 15-yard line. Davis with the catch on the throw from Monty Means. South Carolina has it down at the Clemson 9-yard line.
Here's those trick plays that they pull out of their bag. Almost look like a forward pass. You see Means come back, and he just got rid of it wide away. Good adjustment by Zola Davis. Good down at the 10-yard line.
Means saw the pressure coming. He stayed in there like a good quarterback. Took the hit and still delivered the strike to Davis. 1st and goal. Tannehill over the middle, and it is incomplete and nearly intercepted. McLeon couldn't hang on.
How many drop passes we've seen by the Clemson defense? And is there a penalty flag?
Yes, at the 9.
Penalty flag by the wide receiver. Boy.
Oh, Dexter.
Don't take off the helmet. Sounds like defensive holding. Was it offside against Clemson? 5-yard penalty.
Inside the 5. Under 5 minutes to play. 31-17. Clemson leading.
The big question, if they score a touchdown, do they go for the onside kick?
I would think with one timeout left, you'd have to.
I would think so, especially the way they've been getting run against.
Staley. Oh, was there a face mask in there?
There was, but it wasn't called. I don't think any official saw it.
Simmons the tackle. Well, you
Like
saw
Brett
Staley's.
Williams. Yeah, Brett Williams came across,
snap.
number 92. Well, this clock keeps running. Let's pick it up a little bit, South Carolina. They didn't have good clock management at the end of the first half.
No, sir. Precious seconds. And Tannehill coming up onto center. That play clock at 4. They get it off. Tannehill to the end zone and incomplete. They tried to go to Davis, but right there was Dawkins. That stops the clock with 4:09 left and sets up a 3rd down and 5.
And again, they'll go 2 plays to get it in. Let's tell you, got to hand it to Tannehill. He's moved it right downfield.
But Dawkins just kind of knocked that one away with a forearm.
Yep.
31-17. Clemson with the lead. South Carolina now low snap. Tannehill controls.
Shovel pass they're looking for.
He fakes the shovel, wants to throw. Simmons brings him down. My goodness.
They were going for the shovel pass. They covered it, and Tannehill had to roll out, and Simmons has got the speed. The clock is still running, so they'll obviously go for it on 4th down. Now watch, they're going to shovel pass underneath. See, he's going to shovel pass it right here. That's Pritchett, but Pritchett's covered, so now Simmons, say, Tannehill can't throw it, rolling the wrong way. What a play by Simmons.
The 3rd sack for Clemson today. 3:35 left. Brad Scott's club has to make it here. It's 4th down and goal for South Carolina.
Clemson only rushing 4.
Intercepted in the end zone by Evans. He brings it out down the sideline and is taken down at the 25. Leamon Evans with the interception in the end zone. Denies South Carolina, and Clemson now has it with 3:16 to play and a 2-touchdown lead.
Boy, Evans, the free safety, he's free for a reason. Just stays right in the middle, plays the receiver. That's Monty Means. A little questionable here while you run it out, but he felt he could do it. Gets it past the 20, so his decision is correct. Randy Wheeler with the tackle, but now with 1 timeout left, really only Clemson needs is really 1 first down.
31-17, and the South Carolina faithful are heading to the exits. The Clemson faithful are going to enjoy every tick of the clock. Penalty flag back at the 36.
This could be an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty against South Carolina. Maybe their bench, because it was thrown by the official down by South Carolina's bench. I think one of the
we are told that the personal foul was against Tannehill for unsportsmanlike conduct, getting in the face of the referee. And that's going to cost South Carolina some yards, but all Clemson's concerned about right now is getting that clock moving.
They basically need 1 first down, and they can run it out. Probably 2.
And the offensive line for Clemson has been dominant here in the second half.
Look at this.
Inside, here comes Smith. He's got a big head of steam. Can they bring him down?
Look at this.
Look, he's dragging the man Cousin all the way down to the 5-yard line. My goodness. 56 yards for Emery Smith. And boy, Big Brother be proud of this run.
Boy, look at this. Out in front, number 79, Nesbitt. I'm sorry. 79 is Bundren. How many yards does he go? 5.
50.
10.
Oh.
Look at the big
Cousin
hole.
on his back.
Yeah,
Wow.
big hole. Now he's got to limp off.
It's like trying to bring down a freight train.
Really, now he just hobbles off the field. Now, if you're Clemson, just 4 safe runs. You don't want to try to run up the score here. Just run it in the line.
Kelton Dunnigan is the new fullback. This is Priester. Down inside the 5 at the 4. Benji Young with the tackle. 2.5 to play. Clemson trying to finish with a flourish. They have dominated the second half. 319 yards on the ground today for the Tigers. Priester. Back in at tailback. Clemson wants to add another 6 just for good measure. 2 minutes to go. And Priester trying to follow the block, gets it down to the 2. Number 72, Robert Jackson, was the man trying to get that hole open for him. Third down from the 2, 3rd and goal. For the road team in this series, it's amazing. Smith is back in, by the way. This will mark the 5th straight year that the road team has won in this series. Clemson hasn't lost in this place since '87. And Smith to the 1. compliment Dave Jennings, that Clemson offensive line. Boy, what a job
something
they
we
did.
talked about. Something we talked about early on. They had the bigger size, and they just wore them down. They have a 40-pound average size differential on the offensive line.
And that was the telling tale.
Sure was.
Particularly here in the fourth quarter.
Job that Emery Smith has done blocking, running.
Smith, touchdown. Emery Smith takes it in for the Tigers, and they're going to win it by 3 touchdowns.
They've scored 4 in a row here, late third, early fourth. Just powers it in. They can't bring them down. One thing South Carolina has to think about on their defense is getting a bigger defensive front for next year, for the '96 season.
Sauvé to kick. And it's good. 38-17 Clemson. Smith, 12 carries, 101 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And it will be a very happy trip back to Clemson, South Carolina, for this Tiger team. Emery had a whale of a day today. But so did that offensive line. I mean, Smith gets a lot of credit for the touchdowns. But that offensive line, Bundren and Young and Putnam and Roundtree and Jackson, boy, they were outstanding.
And they just wore them down the second half. You know, we said at the top of the show, if you recall, folks, the offensive line was bigger, was stronger, and that could be a big advantage. It took them about a half to get it going, but once they got it going in the second half, they just couldn't be stopped.
And don't forget, one more SEC game coming up, and that's next Saturday from Neyland Stadium, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, 12:30 Eastern, 11:30 Central. Next Saturday on your SEC station, our Lee SEC game of the week. On the other side, too, Dave, we remiss if we didn't mention about South Carolina, 22 seniors, Tannehill, etc. Just a frustrating loss here today. Here's our Miller Lite players of the game. Emery Smith for Clemson, and he also represents the offensive line. And Monty Means, who caught 6 balls today for 64 yards.
Also threw a pass.
And threw a pass, and a good one. But there's Tannehill. It's all over. The career comes to an end. He so desperately wanted to beat Clemson today and go out in his career, having beaten the Tigers 3 out of 4. It was not meant to be.
Nope. The road team keeps winning in this series.
One reminder, friends, as part of our Players of the Game Award Scholarship Program, Jefferson Pilot Sports will donate $2,000 to the Southeastern Conference to be distributed among its member institutions.
How about second half rushing? Clemson, 208 yards. South Carolina, -1. His last game, they love him here.
Indeed. Thanks for the memories. Boy, it's been a roller coaster career, no question about that. The long ponytail and all his antics early on, and when Brad Scott came over, the haircut was made. Tannehill really became a pro prospect.
Yep.
Staley to the 23, and that's going to be 29 seconds left. Well, Dave Jennings, it has been a pleasure.
Always
Great to
is,
see you
Bobby.
again.
Great
And
to come down.
our thanks to a lot of folks. Tim Beret, the sports information director at Clemson, and head coach Tommy West and his staff. And our thanks also to the wonderful people here at USC. Head coach Brad Scott, Kerry Tharp, the sports information director, AD Mike McGee. Great host. What a wonderful setting it was here today for this great rivalry, Clemson and South Carolina. And the Tigers are going to go out of here with a win. They're up 38-17.
New quarterback for South Carolina, Anthony Wright, #1.
He's going to get a snap here, and he's going to throw the ball, or at least attempt to. They're going to send it out and complete to Staley. And he gets it out to the 38-yard line with 18 seconds to play. That'll be a first down for the Gamecocks. Clemson's got a lot to look forward to. An 8-3 season, 5 straight wins, and for Tommy West, it's on to a bowl. And
maybe the Gator Bowl.
The guess is, yeah, a victory today, and it's on to Jacksonville. Boy, that Patrick Sapp would be a happy young man to go back to his hometown to play in that bowl game. Wright runs it out of bounds as the ball game ends. The final score from Columbia, Clemson 38 and South Carolina 17 as Tommy West and Brad Scott come to midfield to shake hands. We'll be back with our wrap-up in a moment.
Today's Lee Apparel SEC Game of the Week was brought to you by Lee Apparel. With new styles and colors, you'll like the way you look in Lee, the brand that fits. By the Jefferson Pilot Life Insurance Company, the vision to power your dreams. By Burger King, where you can get your burger's worth. And by BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Clemson 38, South Carolina 17, our final score here in Columbia. Don't forget the Rock and Roll Figure Skating Championships coming up December 6th at the North Charleston Coliseum. Then the next night, the Rock and Roll Gymnastics Championships. We'll be back with the final comment here from Columbia in just a moment after this word from your local SEC station. Next week, Vanderbilt at Tennessee, 12:30 Eastern and 11:30 Central. Clemson 38, South Carolina 17. Jefferson Pilot Sports Production Staff outfitted by Lee Apparel, the brand that fits. You have been watching exclusive coverage on Jefferson Pilot Sports of Southeastern Conference football. For Dave Jennings, Bob Rathman, our entire crew, so long from Columbia, South Carolina.